Now finally we're going to start working on our project. So the very first thing you have to do is you have to create your folder. So create a new folder and I'm going to call it ICO token cell. Make sure to write the name of the folder with lowercase, not uppercase. Otherwise it will throw an error. So make sure to open this particular folder in your VS Code. So come back here, go back to the open, come back to the desktop and select the folder. So here we are into this particular folder. Simply close this one, and now what we have to do is we have to get the starter file. I have already provided you the starter file. So come back here to the blockchain coder, and here you will find all the resources of all the project. So come here, go back to the resource code, click on that, and here you will find the entire source code of all the project we have built on our channel. So make sure to come and have a look. So click on this recent project, and here you can easily able to filter that. So this is the one we're going to work on it. So simply click on this get now, and here you will get the final code or you will get the starter file. So click on this starter file and it will take you to this GitHub repository, and from here you can able to get the starter file. So you can check all the folder and file structure. So simply copy the URL and come back to the VS codes. We are into the same folder. So open up your terminal, type git, so make it big screen, type git clone, paste the URL, and we have to give this dot, and it will create the entire starter file in the same folder. So give this dot and hit enter, and it's going to clone the entire repository in the same folder. So simply close this one, and now the very first thing we have to do is we have to remove this git folder, because when you will deploy you will generate your own git file or folders. So simply remove this one. And now let me give you a quick walkthrough of all the folder and file structure we have built for this particular application. So we have this component folder. Inside that you will find all the component we're going to create together. So we have all of this component. The structure is already designed. All we have to do is to write down the code. So we have this entire component. Now let's come back to the context. Inside the context we have these two files and the JSON file. So in the context, in the index, we're going to write down the entire logic, and here we have this JSON file of the contract. Come back to the contract, and we're going to create two contracts, one for the token and one for the token sale. So this is the token sale and token contract. Close this one. We have the pages. So we're going to have one page in our application, and this is the public. Inside that I will provide you the entire starter files of the CSS and all of the things. Okay, so you don't need to write the entire CSS. So make sure to have check all of this file, the CSS and the JavaScript, and some of the library we are using in our application for the animation. So close this one. This is the script, and that we're going to write the script for deploying our contract. Then we have the style. Inside the style folder we have this asset, and that we have all the assets, image and the CSS file. So don't need to worry about that. And we're going to write our custom classes, and we're going to import all the CSS file right here in the global file, which we're going to do it together. So that's the style folder. Here we have the test, here we have the utils. In this we're going to write our some helper function. Close this one. This is the get ignore, this is the hard config file, this is the next.js, this is the package.json file, and here we have all of these packages. So make sure that you have to install the exact version. No matter when you are watching this video, you are watching after a year, 2 years or 5 years, you have to install the exact version. If you don't install the exact version, you're going to face some problem. So this is the one we have. So this is the dependency. So make sure to install this particular ether package, and this is the web3 model. You have to install the exact version, and this is the hard hat as a dev dependency. So this is the exact version you have to use, because when we'll deploy our contract, we're going to configure our deploy script according to this particular package. Because if you install the latest version, the script we're going to create is not going to work. So make sure to install the exact version. Again, I'm telling you, install the exact version. And this is the readme file. Here I have provided some important links so you can check. So all of the things you can check. So close this one, and now, so hope things are making sense, and now we can start working on our project. So the very first thing we have to do is let's run the application. So simply type clear, and let's start the application. Let's first install the entire packages. So what we can do, we'll simply type npm I and hit enter. It's going to install all the packages we have defined in our package.json file. This will take 1 or 2 minutes or 30 seconds depending on your internet speed. You can see in my case it's happened very quickly. So I'll clear the terminal, and in case you got any error while installing these packages, so in that context what you have to do is you have to install the packages one by one. So simply copy this package name and simply install that. So simply copy this entire package and simply copy that one and come back here in readme file and paste here and remove from here and install one by one. So simply copy that one, type npm I and paste. Simply come here, remove this and give this @ and hit enter. And that way you can easily able to install the package. So this is how you can install the package one by one, which again I'm not going to do it because I have no issues. So this looks fine. Now what we can do, we have installed the package. Now let's start the application. Simply type npm run dev and this will start our application on localhost 3000. So come back here in the browser, click on this and click on localhost, and here you can see our application is running absolutely fine and we have no issues. So far the entire setups, the entire application is running absolutely smooth. Now it's time to write the smart contract. So come back here in the contract, and first contract we're going to create for our token, and this time we are not using OpenZipLink library for creating our ERC20 token. We're going to write our own custom token contract because we have to add more function and we want to store the information about the user, those who will do the transaction, so we can fetch those information and display in our front end, or we can display in our dashboard. So simply click on this, the blockchain coder, the token we're going to create, and now let's start working on our token contract. So the very first thing we have to do is we have to import the license identifier. So this is the license identifier we want to use, MIT. Then we have to define the royalty version. So I will go with above 8. Let's call our contract. So I'll call our contract the blockchain coder. You can give whatever name you want. This is the name of my token, so that's why I'm calling it. Now we have to take a string variable and we'll say public, the name of the token, so the blockchain coder, and we have to define the symbol. So I'll say TBC and I can say symbol, and I'll press Ctrl D. It will copy the line. This is the setup I have done in my VS Code, but in your case if you haven't done that, it's not going to work. So simply type it. So this will be the standard. These are the optional data I'm assigning just for my custom token, and I want to display the total supply, and this will be the owner of contract, and this will be the user ID. So let's do one thing, provide this comma, and now we have to change the standard to the blockchain coder 0v.01. So it's totally up to you. You can give any number. I just want to remove this because I want to take the supply as from the constructor. Let's remove this and remove this one. So these are the state variable we are using, and now let's take an array. So that's gonna be an address type, and that we're going to keep the information about those user who will take our token. So it's gonna be a public, and we'll say holder token. Then we'll have this event, and we'll have the transfer, and that we have to pass the address. We'll say indexed from, we have to take the address index 2 and the value UNT 256 value. So this is what we're going to pass in our looks good. Now we can come here, we can take the second event, and that we have to create a approval event. So and that we have to pass the address we're going to approve for spending the token on behalf of us. So this is the spender address, and we have to define the amount, that how much amount they can spend on behalf of the user. So that looks good. These are the two events we have. Now we can simply come here, and we have to define the mapping. So this is the first mapping, which is the address type, and in that we're going to simply keep our struct. So we'll say token holder info public, and we'll say token holder infos. Okay, this is the first mapping we have, and now we have to create this struct. So let's create the struct. We'll say token holder info with a capital one, token holder info, and we're going to keep couple of data in that. So first data, we're going to take this UNT 256, the token ID, then we'll take the address, the from, the address to, and we'll keep the ID, the total token and this boolean value, which will keep the track whether he or she is a holder or not. So that's the struct we have. Now we can come here, we'll take a mapping, it will be an address type and gonna be the unt 256. We'll say public balance of, we'll take another mapping, it will be address type and it's going to return the nested mapping. In that we have to simply pass the address and we have to return the unt 256, and here we'll say public and it will call allowance because we are allowing other address. So that's why we have this nested mapping. One address is allowing other address to spend the token. That's why we have this nested mapping. Now we can come here, we'll take a constructor, and that we have to pass couple of data. So our constructor will take the unt, the initial supply, and first we have to set the owner of the contract. So whoever will deploy the contract is the owner. So the message.sender is the owner. Then we have to assign the balance to the message.sender because at the time of deployment the token will be created and we have to make it someone as an owner. So we have to assign the owner to the message.sender. So we have to pass the initial supply. So then we have to say total supply is equal to the initial supply. So that's our constructor. Looks good. And here I can see we have some issue. So it says convertible, and okay, here I have to do the changes. Come back here. So instead of this string I have to say address, and this will be also a unt variable. Obviously it's a number, and this one is also a unt variable. So make sure to do these changes. Now looks fine. So our constructor is ready. Now we can write the function. So let's create the helper function, and we have to create an increment function. So let's call it increment. It's gonna be a internal, and what it will do, it will simply increment our user id. So we'll say user id plus plus. So that's the function we have. Now we can come here, we'll take this function transfer. Inside that we have to take the address to and the amount. It can be a public return, and it's going to return a boolean value which is a success, whether it's true or false. Then we have to do a couple of checks. So we have to check for a condition. So we'll say balance of the message.sender. So those who try to transfer the fund, he has to have enough fund. So we'll say is equal to the value, equal to the value. So if he has the fund, then we have to go to the next, we have to increment the user id, and then we have to do the transfer. So we'll say balance of message.sender, and we have to subtract from his account the value, and we have to simply update to the sender. So we'll say 2, and we have to simply update that value. And now we're going to simply call this token holder info function, and we have to simply update our struct data. So we'll take this token holder infos, we have to pass the 2, and then we have to simply update the entire information. So we'll say token holder info 2 equal to the 2, and we have the token info from, and that's called message.sender. Then we'll say token holder info 2 token holder equal to true. Then we have the token holder info to total token, and we have to say the value. Then we'll simply take this token holder info token id, and we have our user id. Once we update our struct, now we have to simply update our array. So we'll take this token holder, we have to simply push the user address, and we'll say this, okay, I'm getting this warning. So simply copy this one, and why I'm getting this warning. So what I will do, I'll simply come here. So that's okay, that's fine, no issues we have. Okay, here I made this spelling mistake, it's push, push. So that's fine. So once we're done with that, now we have to simply call our event. So we have to pass this message.sender to and the value, and that's wonderful. And at the end we have to return this true if it's went successful. So this is the transfer function we have. We are simply getting the data, updating and transferring. So that's the first two function we have. Now let's write this is called transfer function. Now we can come here and we have to create one more function called transfer from. We'll check this function transfer from, and in that we'll take the address from and the address to and the value. So these are the three information we're going to take it. It's going to be a public return, and it's going to return boolean value success, means true or false. Now we have to do a couple of check. So we'll take this value, it should be less or equal to the balance of the from the person who's sending. Then we have to do the second check, the value should be less or equal to the allowance, so the from, and we'll say message.sender. So that's how we are making this connection, because allowance is a nested mapping. After that we have to simply update the data. So we'll check this balance of, we have to subtract that balance from the form, and we have to simply update the balance to the same logic we are following here. Then we have to simply call this allowance, and we have to say from, we have to nest it to the caller user, and then we have to simply subtract the fund. Then we have to initialize the transfer event from to and value, and at the end we're going to simply return the true. So that's a very simple function we have here, not a big deal. Okay, so this function will allow us to send the token on behalf of someone else if he has the allowance. That looks good. Now we can come here, we can write the function called get token holder data. So we have to simply return the entire array. We'll say get token holder data, we have to get the address, and we'll say public view return, and we have to get all the data which we want to get from the user. So we have to define that. So we'll say unt, then we have to take the address, then we have to take the address, and the last one is the unt variable. These are the four data types we want to receive, and the boolean, whether he is a holder or not. And here we have to simply call our struct. So we'll return, we'll take our mapping in which we have all the data, we have to pass the address, and we have to simply call the data. So we'll say token id, and simply replicate this couple of times, 5 times, and we have to change this one. So this is going to be 2, this will be from, this will be the, let's say token, total token, and the last one is the token holder. So things are looking good. Make sure to follow the exact order, because if your orders mismatch, it will throw an error. So order is very important in Solidity when you write your smart contract. So it looks pretty good. So these are the only function we have to write, and I'm getting some sort of warning here. So what I can see here is that somehow I provided this extra comma. Here I'm getting this error message because I have provided this extra comma. Remove this one and that will fix the issue. Looks good. Now we can come here, we'll write another function for getting the entire user array, token holder array. Get token holder public view, and we want to return the entire array. So address array, we'll say memory, and we can simply return the entire array. We'll say token holder token, and that looks good. So this is the entire function we have. That's pretty easy, and you can add more function. It's totally up to you that how you want to design your smart contract of your token and what information you want to keep it. But this looks pretty fine. So we are done with that. Now we can simply come here, and first we have to simply grab this license identifier and the version, paste here, and now we can start working on our token sell contract. So simply come here, we have to import our token contract. So it's coming from the same directory. This is the name of the file I have given, the blockchain coder. So this is the token contract, and now we have to call our token sell contract we have to build. So first we're going to take an address, call admin. Now we have to get the blockchain coder, and we'll say public, and we'll take this token contract. Then we'll take a unt variable, we'll say public. We have to take the token price, because at the time of deployment we have to tell our token sell contract that what is the price of the token. And here we're going to keep another variable, and in this we're going to keep the track that how many tokens are sold. Okay, we'll say token sold. So these are the state variable we have. Now we have this event, we'll say sell, and we'll take the address, of the buyer and the amount. Then we can come here, we'll take the constructor, and in that we have to simply update. So first what we're going to do is we have to take the address of our token contract and we have to pass into our token cell. So let's take this, the blockchain coder, and we'll say token contract, and that's what we have to update. And we have to also update the price, so it's a UNT and this is the token price. So these are the two information we have to pass into our token soul contract: the address of our token and the price. So we'll take this admin is going to be the message.sender, the one who will deploy the contract. Now we have to take this token contract and we have to simply update that to a token contract. Now we have to simply update the token price, which we are getting into our constructor. This is the token price. So we have updated our constructor, and that's the only thing we have to do. So the token contract and the price will come from the constructor, and we are simply updating into your token cell. So these are the few things you have to keep in mind. So these are the important things you have to keep in mind. Now we have to write the functions. So let's come here. We'll take a function called multiply, and this will allow us to calculate that how many tokens user is buying or how many token we have to transfer. So we'll take this s and y as a UNT variable, internal pew, and return, and it's going to return the UNT variable. Means it will do the calculation, it's going to return the value. So that's looks fine. And all we have to do is we have to do the multiplication. We have to say that y is equal to 0, and we'll say that z equal to x multiplied by y, and we have to divide it with y equal to x. So this will give us the actual price. Simple one. So this is the multiply function we have, and now we have to call this particular function buy token, and in this we're going to call this multiply function to multiply and find the value. So it's going to take couple of data. So it will take the UNT, the number of token the user try to buy it, public, payable, and the reason we have used payable keyword here because we have to do the transfer of funds. So we'll take this return and we have to check that message.sender is equal to the multiply, and we have to pass this number of token and we have to pass the token price. So these are the two information we have to price. So if user wants to buy 10 token and the price of one token is 1 ether, so it's going to simply multiply and it will give us 10 ether. So that's the very simple thing. But why I'm getting this particular error message? Okay, so let's have a look that why I'm getting this error. So this is the multiply, that's fair. This looks fine, no issues we have here. So these are the UNT variable, and here we have the pricing. And let's do the second check. The condition will say this, the token contract dot balance of, and we have to pass the address, this, and we have to simply, it has be greater or equal to the this number of tokens. Means here what we are doing, that we are checking the balance of the token cell contract, that it has enough token to make this transaction. If it's not, then we have to throw the error message. We have to cancel the transaction. So looks good. And here I can see the problem. It's not message.sender, it's message.value, because we are comparing with UNT, not with the address. So here what we are doing, that we are comparing with UNT variable with UNT variable, not address with UNT. So that's why we are getting that error message. Now looks fine. Now we can do the third check, in that we have to simply transfer the token. So we have to say message.sender, and we have to simply pass the number of token he wants to purchase. And what we have to do is, you have two options. What you can do is you can simply convert that entire token into ethers, the way term, with the help of JavaScript. But for being on the safer side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert that into way right on here in the contract. So all you have to do is you have to multiply with this one and add 18.0. So it will convert into 1 ether, because the price of our token is 1 ether, and that's what we are doing here. Make sure to add 18.0. So remove this one. You have two options. First, you can use EtherJS package in your front end to do the conversion but here I want to do it based on the smart contract, inside the smart contract without using the library, okay, for being more secure. Then we have to simply increment the number token sold to the number of token, and we have to call our event, and then we have to pass the message.sender and the amount number of tokens. So this is the buy function we have pretty much, and that's the only thing we have to do here in the buy token function. Close that one, and now we can simply come here and let's write one more function for end sell. And this is optional, but sometime what happened that you have to end your token sell, so you have to cancel the entire token sell and you have to withdraw the token into your address. So this is what the function does. So what it will do, that we're going to simply say public, and here we have to do a check. So we have to check for a condition. We'll say message.sender is equal to the admin, means the owner of the contract. After that we have to do the second check. So in this, what we'll say, we'll take the token contract and we have to transfer the fund to the admin. So we'll say the admin and we have to transfer the fund. So we will say token contract, and we'll call this balance of address. This means the contract, and we have to simply transfer that. So here I'm getting this error message. Did you mean token contract? Yes, I mean that. So what I can do is, let's okay, so a spelling mistake was there, so token contract. So I'm simply transferring the fund from this particular contract to my address. Now I can come down here, I'll say payable admin, call the transfer function, and we have to simply pass the address this, and we'll say balance, and that will transfer the fund and it will pay back to the admin. So things are looking pretty good, and that's the only thing we have to do here in the token sale contract. So looks pretty good. We have done all the function. We have the multiplication, buying, and the end sale. Okay, now come back here. So we have written these two contracts. Hope you guys have understood that what logic we have implemented and how we have written the contract and what logic we have functionalized. Close this one, and now we have to write the script for deploying our contract. So first we have to deploy, remove this API, the old API, remove this one and remove this one, because when we'll deploy our contract we're going to get an our API, and that's what we're going to simply drag and drop here in the context file. Close this one, come back here in the script, and let's write the script. So here we're going to use the library of hardhat. So let's simply import that. So if you come back to the package.json file, make sure to use the exact version. Again, I'm telling you, if you use the latest version, it's not going to work, because latest version has a different configuration and old version has a different configuration. So if you're using this particular version, make sure to configure the way I'm doing right now. Come back here. Now we'll say cons hre, and we are getting this from hardhat. So we'll say hardhat. Once we have that, now we have to build a helper function which will allow us to convert the ether into Wei, and that amount we have to pass into our contract. So we'll take this const, we'll say tokens, and then we have to pass the number of tokens, and here we'll use the ether package. We'll say return. So what I will do is simply remove this one. We'll take this ether only, and we'll say utils parse unit, and we have to simply pass the number and we have to convert that into a string. So that's our conversion function, and we'll define that it's an ether. So that's a very simple helper function we have, and now we have to write actual function for deploying our contract. So let's call it a seek function. We'll call it main. In that, first we're going to deploy our token contract, because our sale contract is dependent on token contract. So we'll have to take the initial value, that what is the supply of our token, and we're going to simply call the helper function, and we have to pass the number. You can create as many token as you want. I'm going with this number. Now we're going to take this variable called the blockchain coder, await, we'll call the ether package dot get contract factory, and in that we have to pass the name of the contract. So if you come back here, contract, this is the name I have given. Simply copy that one and come back here and paste here. Okay, looks good. Now come down, we have to simply deploy const, make it with a lowercase, the blockchain coder, and we'll say await, the blockchain coder, and in that we have to simply pass the supply. So we'll say initial supply, and then we have to simply call the await deployed. So we'll take this, the blockchain coder dot deployed, and this will deploy our contract, and we're going to simply console log out the address of our token. So we'll say the blockchain coder, and here we'll have this. So we'll say the blockchain coder dot address, and this will give us the address of the token contract. So this the blockchain coder has the entire object of our deployed contract, but from there we are simply accessing the address. Okay, so this is the first contract we are deploying, and now we have to do the second thing. We have to deploy our token sale contract. So first we have to do exactly the same thing. So we'll call the token price, because this time we have to pass the price of the token in our token cell and the address. So the price I want to set 1 ether. Let's take this token cell await. We have to call the ether dot get contract factory, and we have to pass the name of our token contract, which is the token cell, and we have to follow exactly the same thing what we have done above. Token cell await token cell dot deployed, and we have to pass we have to pass the address of the token and the token price. So we have the address here, the blockchain coder dot address, and we have the price, the token price, and these are the two things we are passing. So if you come back to the blockchain coder, not here, so come back here, the blockchain token cell contract, and if you look at the constructor, in that we are simply passing the address and the price in our constructor, and that's what we are doing exactly here. Now we have to simply call our deployed function on token cell and console log out our token address, and we have the address of our token cell. So token cell, and we'll get the address, save it, and now we have to simply call our functions. We'll call main. We have to catch an error if anything goes wrong, and in that first we have to simply console log out the error, and we have to stop the application once the contract is deployed. So we'll say process.exit code, which is a 1, and that's the entire script we have written for our deploying the contract. So helper function, then we are taking the initial supply of our token, and then we are simply deploying and consoling out the address. Then we have this token cell, we are passing the two data, token address and the price, and then we are simply calling the function. Come back here, close this one, and now we can simply deploy our contract. So open up your terminal, bring it up and split your terminal, and first thing we have to do is we have to run our local blockchain. So to run that, all we have to do is type npx hard node and hit enter. So it will start the blockchain locally, and it will give you 20 plus accounts. So each account will have 10,000 ether, fake ether, which you can use it. So you can see this is the private key of each one of these accounts. So it will give you 20 account, and each account will have a private key. So if you want to use any one of these account in your MetaMask, simply copy the private key and import in your MetaMask, and you can use that account. Now we can simply deploy our contract. So this is the exact command you have to write. We have to write this npx, let me bring this down. We have to type npx hard run network localhost and deploy script / deploy and hit enter. And here I'm getting some sort of error. So I know what is the problem we are having. So we are having in our helper function. So first we have to remove this artifact, remove this cache, and come back here in the script, click on that, and here we have the issue. So right now you can see that we have this ether utils. Okay, this is my bad. So remove this d, we don't need to have this d. It's called parse utils. So once you remove the d, it will not give you an error. So let's bring it back and come here, remove this artifact, stop the blockchain. Now we have to restart one more time, and now simply deploy, hit enter, and here we have compiled our contract and deployed successfully. And here you will have the address of the token contract and token sale contract. So you can simply copy, come back here in the context, in the constants, and here we can simply keep this to token addresses. So copy that one and paste here, and copy this and paste here. Now we have to simply copy the address, token address, and this is the token cell address, copy and paste here. So now we are done with that. Now what we can do is, now we have to import the ABIs. So come here. Here we have the artifact. Inside the artifact we have the ABI of the two contracts. So simply drag and drop in the context. So drag and drop in the context. So this is the token ABI, and here we have the token cell ABI. So simply drag and drop here. Looks fine. So we got the ABI, and now we have to simply import here in the context. So we'll say JSON file import the blockchain coder, and that's coming from the same directory /ABI. Then we have to import the token cell and coming here, and now we have to simply export. So first we have to export the token. So export const token address, and then we have to export the token ABI so we can receive in our different file. So ABI, so we have this token ABI. Now copy the address and paste here. So this is our token. Now we have to work on our token cell. We have to do exactly the same thing. Export const token cell address, and we have to get token cell ABI. So we'll say const token cell ABI, which we get from token cell dot ABI, and copy the address and paste here. So that's the only thing we have to do here. So far things are looking pretty good. Close this one, and now you can come back. Looks good. Now you can come back to the utils, and let's create and write all the function for our help. And now what we can do is, before we proceed ahead and start working on our actual function, let's create all the helper function which allow us to communicate with our smart contract, connecting with the wallet, and getting the basic information about your contract. So all of those function we're going to create it right now in our utils file in index. So let's create that first. So first thing, we have to import the ether package and web3 package. So this is the ether package we have, and now we have to import the web3 model, and that's coming from the web3 model. So we have these two packages. Now we have to import the address and the ABI of the two contract, and that's coming from the contents. So let's import the token ABI, token address, token ABI. Then we have to get token cell ABI and token cell address. So these are the ABI and the addresses we are getting. Looks good. Now we can come here. We can export the check if wallet is connected. So this function will call every time the user will reload the browser, and it will try to find out whether the user is connected or not. It's going to be an async. We don't need to pass any argument. We'll take a try and catch block so we can find out if anything goes wrong, and we have to simply console log out the error. Now we have to call this. So we'll check for a certain condition. So first thing we have to do is we have to check whether the MetaMask is available or not in the user browser. And how we can do that? We can do it by the Ethereum object. So whenever a user will install any web3 wallet, it's inject the Ethereum object in the browser. So if there is a Ethereum object in the browser, means user have the wallet, but if it's not there, means user doesn't have the wallet. So we'll say window.ethereum object is not there. Then we have to simply return this message. We'll say install MetaMask. After that, if it's there, then we have to simply get the address, the very first address. First we'll get all the address. So we'll say window.ethereum request, and we have to call this particular method. And that will say method, and we have to say ETH accounts. So this will give us all the accounts which are there in the MetaMask. So once we have all the account, we have to get the very first account. So we'll say const first account. We'll say accounts, and we have to say index 1. That means 0, and that's what we have to simply return. Looks pretty good. So this is the check if wallet is connected function. So what we can do, simply do one thing, simply copy this and paste here, and this will say connect wallet. So on the base of click event, we are going to call this function. So here we're going to do a couple of changes. The only change we have to do in the method. So instead of ETH accounts, we have to call say request accounts, and the rest should be fine. And after that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reload the browser. So come here, well, so window.location.reload, and here we have the current wallet function. Looks pretty good. So these are two function is fine. Now we have to communicate with the smart contract. So first we're going to communicate with the token contract. So we'll take this token contract and we'll say const fetch token contract. It's going to be an A. Inside that we have to pass the signer or provider. Take the callback function. So we'll take this ether package, we'll say contract, and in that we have to simply pass the address ABI and the signer. So first the token address, then the ABI, and then the signer or provider, means whoever is interacting with our contract. Make sure to provide the exact order. This order is very important. First address, then ABI, then the signer or provider. So we got our fetch contract. Now we can call our connecting token contract. It's going to be an async function, and in that we're going to use the web3 model to connect. So we'll take this try and catch block so we can find out if anything goes wrong, error. So first thing we have to call our web3 model function. So we'll say web3 and we'll say new web3, call it. Now we have to get the connection. So we'll say connection, and that's what we can get from web3 model dot connect function. Then we have to get the provider, and we have the, let's say, new ether dot providers dot web3 providers, and in that we have to simply pass the connection. So once we have the provider, and we can get the signer, so let's call it signer. We have the provider. On that we're going to call the function called get signer. So we'll get the signer. After that we have to get the contract. So we'll say contract, and we have already created this function fetch token contract. That function we have to simply call, and in that we have to pass the signer, because that's what our fetch contract function need, and it's going to return the entire contract. And now what we're going to simply return it. So in this way what will happen, that all we have to do is we have to simply call this function and pass the signer, and in that way we will have the address, it will have the entire contract which we can use. So this is the connecting token contract. Now let's create one more function which allows us to get the balance of the user. So we'll say get balance, simply change this to get balance, and all we have to do is we have to simply remove this. So remove this one, and we have to call the await signer dot get balance function, and it will run the balance of the user. So that's the only thing you have to do here. And now we have to do the same thing for the token sell contract, which we have done for the particular one. Simply copy this one, and that's what you have to paste, and here we have to do the changes. So let's change the name. So this is called token sell, and here we have to simply call that one, and here we have to change the address and the ABI. So this is the token sell address and token sell ABI, and that's the only thing we have to do. So our functions are looking fine. So we have written all the helper function which we can utilize in our application. So things are looking pretty fine, no issues so far. Close this one, come here. Now we are done with this util, and now we're going to start working on our context index file. So come here in the index file, and now we can start working on it. So simply type RFC, it will generate this boilerplate. Remove this one. Now we have to import couple of things from React. We need use state, use effect, you create context, and use context. That's what we are getting from React. Now we can come here, we'll import the ether package. We'll come here, we have to import the function we have created. So we'll say internal import. We have to come here in the utils, and we have to import each one of these function we have created. So simply copy that one, and that's what we have to call, and that's coming from the utils. So utils slash index. Now we have to get the current wallet, copy, and that's what we have to paste here. Come back here. Now we have to get the this is the function we have to get, connecting token contract. Paste here. Okay, bring it back, copy, and paste here. Now we have to get the get balance, copy, paste here, and now we have to get this one and paste here. So we are importing all our utils function we have created. Looks good. So far things are looking pretty fine, and now we can start working on our context. So we'll take this variable called const state context equal to create context. Then we'll export this our context provider. So we'll say export const state context provider. It will take the children, and we have to simply return it. So inside that we have to write all the variables, all the functions, and that's what we're going to simply export from this file. So what we can do is we can simply come here and we have to return. So we'll come here, we'll return that. So we already have our context. We'll say state context and we'll call this provider, and that's the general convention you have to follow in React context to export. So close this one and close this one, and here we can pass the value. So whatever we can define here, it's going to be an object. So whatever we want to export, all we have to do is to pass here and it will be available in our entire application. So inside this we have to pass the children, and that's the setup of our context. So let me show you and that's the entire setup of our context. So let me show you. Let's take a variable, we'll call it token ICO, and let's call it this token. Let's take a string, we'll say token sell DApp. So whatever function, whatever variable you will define here, you can simply export it. So simply copy that, and all you have to do is to paste here, and in that way it will be available in our entire application, in our entire component, and we can call it and we can have the value or variable. So that's the entire setup you have to do here in the context. Now what we have to do is we have to come back here in the pages, and we have to do a little bit configuration here. So first we have to get our context, we have to import, and that's coming from the index context / index. So we got it, and here we have to simply get our context provider. So what we have to do is first we have to export. So we'll say export const use state context equal to, and we'll call this use context, and in that we have to pass the state context, that what we have created above, and get this state context provider, copy this one, and that's what we have to call it here. So we have this our context provider, and now we're going to simply wrap our entire application with this context provider. So in that way the data will flow very easily. Simply copy and paste here. So in that way we'll have the entire data. So looks pretty fine. That's the entire setup we have to do. Close this one, come here, we have done all the setups, things are looking fine, and now we can simply use that variable we have created. So let's come back here in the index page, let's do the internal import, and we have to call our context. So it's coming from /context index, and all we have to do is we have to call our use state context. So this is the context we have defined, and now we can simply get the data. So we'll say const, and we'll call our use context hook. So if we come back here, you can see this is the variable we have defined. Simply copy that one, paste here, and that's what we can simply pass. So if you want to display this data, all I can do is simply pass that variable here, and it will work fine. So things are looking pretty good. We have done all the setups. Now let's start the application. So simply type npm run dev, and you can see that our application is started on localhost 3000. No issue we have so far. If I reload the browser, and here I'm getting this error message. Okay, I have a duplicate this particular function. So what I can do is I can come back here in the context, I can bring this down, and you can see, okay, here is the duplicate. So remove this one, and that will fix the issue. Simply copy, save, and come back here, reload the browser, and again I'm having the same issue. It's coming from the utils function. Okay, so we have to do the changes in two places. So there is a duplicate name. So this is the context. Make sure to do the changes whatever we have done here. Now we can simply reload the browser, and you will find that we have this issue in this utils. So come here, go back to the utils, and here we have to change the name of our token sell contract. So this one is for the token contract and this one is for token sell. So let's change this to dash token sell and copy, and that's what we can simply call our context. Paste here. Okay, only the value name, copy and paste here. Looks good. So that's the only thing you have to do. You have fixed all the issue, close all the files, come back here, and still I'm getting some error here. Maybe I have done something wrong in exporting the file and importing the file, so that's why I'm getting this undefined, and I know where I'm getting this issue. So you can see here I'm getting this particular problem. So come back in the app.js file, and instead of constant, you can see, I hope you guys have noticed that you have to say index. If you do that index, that will fix the issue. So I was stuck for 10 minutes and finally I found this problem. So now what I will do, I'll simply keep everything as it is, make sure to change this one. Now we can come back here in the index page, and let me just bring this back, because when I was finding the error I just comment this portion, and now it will work fine. Save it. You can see I have not done any changes, everything is exactly the same. Save it, and now you can come back to the application, close this one, and here you can see this is how the data is flows in our application. So everything else thing is working absolutely fine. We have no issues in our application. So we have written the smart contract, we have built the setup of our context, and we are feeding the data from our context to our UI component. So that's also looking pretty good. So things are looking pretty fine, and now we're going to start working. So every single thing is working absolutely fine. We have no issues so far, and now we're going to start working on our functionality. We're going to create a couple of state variable and functions so we can utilize. So let's start working on it. So here we are in the index context. First thing, I'm going to create a couple of state variable. So let's comment this one, and I'll take a state variable called address. I'll take another one, and this will be our call balance, only balance, not get balance. So simply back, this will be balance, remove this one, and it's a capital B. Let's take another state variable, and this will call our native token. Then we'll take another state variable called token holders. It's going to be an array. Then we'll take another state variable, and this will be the token sell. Then we'll take another state variable, and this will be our current holders. So these are the state variable we have. Now we have to write the very first function called fetch data, and this function will allow us to fetch the entire basic information from token sell contract and token contract. So we'll say const fetch initial data. It's going to be an async function. We have to take a try and catch block, because if anything goes wrong we have to catch that. We'll say error. So first thing we have to do is we have to get the user. So we'll say get user account. So we'll say const account, and we have already created the function. We'll call this check if wallet connected, and it will return the address of the user. Once we get the address, we have to simply get the balance of the user. So we'll say balance await. We already created this function. In that we have to simply call this, and we have to simply set the balance to our state variable. Make sure to convert it into ether. We'll say balance dot string, and this will convert the balance in ether. Now we have to set the address. So far things are good. What we are doing, we are simply calling our check if wallet can function. It will return the address of the user, and that address we are setting to the state variable. The same thing we are doing with the balance. We are getting the balance of the user and setting up in the state variable. Now we have to work on the contract. So we'll say token contract, and now we have to find out, now we have to get all the information about the token from the token contract so we can display in our front end. So we have to call the token contract. So we have to get the token contract. So we'll say await, and we already built the functionality. So we'll say, what is the name of the function I have created? It's not this one. Let's come back here. What is the name of the function? So we have this connecting token contract. Remove this one, and this is the one we have to call it. Copy and paste here and call the function. So this will give us the contract object, and now we can call it one by one. So we'll take a variable called let token balance, because there are certain function we want to restrict. If the user has the balance, then we have to call the function, otherwise it will throw an error. So we'll take this let variable, and what I will do in this, I'll say if account means user is connected, then we want to simply call this function. We'll say token balance await token contract, and I'm going to call this particular function balance of, and we'll pass the user address. Else we have to set the user balance to 0. Hope things are making sense what I'm doing here. If user is connected, then I only want to get the address and his balance in the contract, otherwise I don't want to make the check, otherwise it will throw an error message. So that's the first check we are doing. Now we have to call all the functions. So get all token data like name, symbol, all the things. So first we'll say token name, we'll say await, we have to call the token contract, and we have to call the name function. So this will give the name of the token. Simply replicate it couple of times. Now we have to get the symbol, we have to get the closest one, we have to get the token. It's a total supply. This will be our standard. This will be the holders, and the last one is the owner of contract, and we have to get the last one, and this will be the address of the contract. So here we have to simply change the function name. So this will be the symbol, this will be the total supply, and here we have the standard, and here we have the function name called user ID, and here we have the owner of contract, and here we have the address. And the reason why I'm able to make this call, because when you declare a variable using public keyword, it will automatically create a get function. Okay, I hope you guys have basic understanding of Solidity and how it's work. If you are totally beginner, so make sure to take the Solidity course, in that I have explained every single thing. So here we have the entire data. Now we can simply come here, we'll take a variable called native token, and we're going to store all of this data as an object. So let's take this token address to token address, then we'll take this token name to token name, then we'll take this token symbol to token symbol, then we'll take this to token owner of contract, then we'll token owner of contract, then we'll take this, let's say token standard to token standard, then we'll take this token total supply, and we have to convert it into ether. So we'll use this ether.utils format ether, and we have to pass the token supply, and we have to convert it to a string, and that's it. Then we'll take this token balance, make it capital B, and here we have to do the changes. It's not small b, capital B. Copy and paste here, and here we have to simply copy and paste here, and we have to simply pass the token balance, and that will fix the issue. So looks pretty good. And here we have to take the one more, this is the token holder, and we'll take this token holder to number. So this will be give us that how many token holders we have. Looks good. We have all of this information right up here. Everything is looking pretty good, and here I'm getting some sort of error. Okay, I have this equal, so simply remove this one, and that will fix the issue. No issues we have so far. Now once we have the entire data, all I have to do is simply update in our state variable, in the objects state variable, yeah, set native token, and we have to simply pass the data. In that way everything is updated and available in the state variable. So now what I will do is, let's call the function and let's see that what data we are getting, everything is working or not. So simply call the function and save it. Come back to the application, simply reload the browser. You can see it will automatically call our MetaMask. So we have to connect with that, do the inspect element, and here I'm getting some sort of error, and I know why I'm having this issue. You can see this is the error message I'm getting, that something's wrong with our address, the wallet address. something wrong. So things are looking pretty fine here. Let me have a look. Let me comment all of this and let me console log out the address, the entire contract. And here you can see we have all the contract, we have the address and all the function we have defined. So it looks pretty good. Now what I will do, I will simply console log out the address, that we have the address. Okay, the address is also working fine, we have no issues in that. So let's bring this back, call it, and still I'm getting this error. So maybe this is something related to the network. So if I come back to the MetaMask, and okay, here you can see that I have connected to Polygon, and because of that I was getting an error. So I have to switch back to the localhost, select that one and reload the browser, and you can see right now we are not having any issue. Now let's bring everything back. So let's bring this back, remove this console logs, let's bring this back, select all this and bring it back and save it, and simply console log out this native token. And still I'm getting this error message that token number is not a function. Okay, maybe I have done some sort of spelling mistake. Yes, I do. Okay, simply comment this one and you can see everything is working fine. So we have all the basic information about the contract, the supply and all, everything we are getting. So our function is working fine. So if I come back here and if I try to look at what is the issue with this token holder, so something's wrong in that. So let's console log out it and let's call this, and you can see we are getting this big number. So there is no problem in that. Let's call this to number function and we are getting this 0. Okay, that looks fine. Come copy and okay, here is the problem. I made n so a spelling mistake. So let's simply replace this and it will work fine. Bring it back and this time it will work fine. We have no issues. If you open that, you can see we have this 0 and looks pretty good. So we got our native token. Things are looking pretty good. We have no issues. You can see every single data we are getting in our front end. So we have all the information about native token. Now we will move on, and now we have to get the token holders data. So those who will hold our token. So we'll say const get token holders, and we'll say await. We have to call the contract, and on that we have already have a function in our smart contract, get token holder. We'll call it and we'll say set token holders, and we have to simply pass that. So it will be available in array. Now we have to say getting token holders data. So this one is for the user. So we'll say if account is available, means user is connected with our contract, then we'll call this get token holder data, and we'll say await token contract get token holder data, and all we have to do is to pass the address. Looks good. And that way we'll have the entire information about the user. Once we have the information, we have to simply update that. So we'll take a variable called current holder, and it will have the information about token ID, so that we can have a user token ID, and we can simply have an access by the index, because the data will come in the form of index, okay, array. So we have to access the data one by one. So we have the ID, then we have to get the address, and the address is available in the one, and replicate it and change this to this will be total token, and this will be token holder. Let's convert that. So simply ether.utils format ether, and we have to simply get this, paste here, and we have to convert it into a string. So this will be 3 called toString, and do the same thing with this. So what I will do, I'll simply come here, change this 3 to 3 and 4. Things looks fine, and now we can simply update this data to the state variable. So we already have a variable for the user. So what I can do is we'll take this set current holder, and we have to simply pass this current holder, so it will be available in our state variable. Simply select this, and we have to keep this inside the if block. So simply select cut and paste inside the if block, because we want to call this function only when the user is connected. So it looks pretty good. So this is the if block we have. Things are looking good, no issues we have here. Now what I can do is, things are looking pretty fine. So first we are getting all of this data for the native currency, then we are working on our user holder. Now we can come here, we can simply do one thing, we'll work on our token sell contract, and we have to get the information. So we'll call this const token sell contract, and we already have the function. We'll say token sell contract, it will give the contract object, and now we can simply grab few from here and paste here, and all we have to do is to change the name. It will be the token price, this will be the token sold, and this will be our token sell balance. And we have to change the contract, simply replace this one, and we have to change the function. So this will be the token price, and this will be the token sold, and this will be the balance of, and in that we have to pass the address of the token sell contract. So that's easy. We can come back here in context and get the token sell contract address, and that's what we have to pass. So that looks pretty good. Now we can take a call this set token sell. Let's create an object. Let's store all this information in an object. So we'll come here, we'll say const token sell token price eth.utils.format ether token price, and we have to convert it. Let's do the same thing for the token sold, and we'll say token sold to number, and this one is the token sell balance. We have to convert it, utils format ether token sell balance, and we have to convert it. So it looks pretty good, and that's what we have to pass here. Save it. Things look good. Now if you come and reload the page, here we are getting some sort of error message that is not defined. Okay, I done some spelling mistake maybe. So here we have the token holder data. If I come back here, okay, there is a problem. There is capital D and small d. Because of that I was getting an error. Simply copy that one and simply replace, copy this one and replace with this all, and that will fix the issue. If you come back, and here I'm getting again one problem. It's token sold is not a function, so maybe something's wrong I have done. So what I can do is I can come back into the contract token sell, and here we have, okay, here we have s token sold. So simply change that to, it's called tokens sold, and this will fix the issue. And here we have the issue in the balance of, I know why it's happening. So instead of calling the contract, we have to call the token contract. So here we have to change this one. So come here, get the token contract, and that what we have to simply pass here, and this will fix the issue. You can see all the error is gone and things are looking pretty fine. So now what we can do is, now we can simply console log out all the data which we are fetching. So things are looking pretty good to me, and what we can do is come here. Now we have to work on the buy token function. So let's take a variable called const buy token. It's gonna be an async. We have to pass the number of token, and we'll add the try and catch, and we have to catch an error if anything goes wrong, error. Then we'll call the contract. First we have to get the amount and we have to convert it. So we'll take this ether.utils.parse unit, and that we have to simply pass the number of token, and we'll have to say ether. Then we'll take a variable called contract await. We have to call the contract. So once we have the contract, and here we have to call the token sell contract, not the token contract, because token sell contract will allow us to send the token. Okay, so we'll say buying, we'll say await contract dot buy token, and here we have the function. In that we have to pass the number of token user wants to buy. So what we can do in that, we have to simply pass the number of token, and we have to pass the value, so the converted value. Looks good. You can see that we are passing this token without converting into ether, because we have already done that in our smart contract. So that's what we are doing. We had already done this conversion, that's why we are passing straight away. Come here, we'll say buying, and we have to call this await function. Once the transaction is completed, we have to simply console log out this buying, and we have to reload the browser. Dot reload, and that will fix the entire issue. Okay, so that's the buying function we have here. Hope so far things are making sense to all of you guys. Now we can work on our transfer token function, and this function only called by the owner of the contract, because first we have to transfer the token to the token sell contract. Then token sell contract can sell the token to the other user. So let's create the function. We'll say transfer native token, and I will go with the hardcode value, because ultimately this function can be called only by the owner of the token contract, not by anyone. So we'll wrap this in try and catch. If anything goes wrong, we'll come here, we'll say const token sell address. So this is the address where we have to transfer. This is the token sell contract address. Copy and paste here. Then we have to define the amount of token we want to transfer. So we'll say token amount. So I want to transfer 500. You can transfer any value you want. Then we'll take this token. We'll say token to string. Then we'll take this transfer amount. We say ether utils parse ether, and we have to say token. Looks good. Then we can say const contract. We'll say await, and we have to call the contract. So here we'll get the token contract. Once we have the token contract, we have to simply call the function. So we'll say await, we have the contract. On that we have to simply call the transfer function we have in the token contract, and we have to pass the address of the token sale and the amount, and this will work absolutely fine. Then we have to simply console log out the entire transaction, and I can say wait transaction. Then we can simply reload the window after the transaction get completed, and that's the only thing we have to do. So every single thing is working fine, you can see that. So only these three functions we have to create. So one function for buying, one function for transfer. Now what we can do, let's console log out all the data. So first we have to console log out the token sell, and we have to get the token holder. So replicate that, paste it token holder, and now we have to get this token native token. Copy and paste here. Save it. Looks pretty good. Copy, cut this one, and reload the browser. And here you can see we have all of this data. So this is the data coming from the token sell contract, and you can see the price, the token balance, and the address. This is the entire thing we have, and all of the information we are getting here. Things are looking pretty fine. I hope you guys can understand what we have done here. So we are getting all of this data fine here. Now what we can do is we have to transfer a couple of token to the token sell contract. So what we can do, call the function here, and this is the function we're going to receive in our index page. So receive the function, and we're going to have a button, and on that we're going to simply call this function. So we'll say button we'll say on click, call the function. We'll say transfer and save it. Come back here, we have the button, and now we can simply work on transfer the funds. So first thing we have to do is we have to clear the MetaMask history. That's the first thing, because whenever you do your first transaction, the transaction will fail, and whenever you change your account address, make sure to clear the history, otherwise the transaction will fail. So once you do that, reload the browser, and now what you have to do is come back here. So you can see that this is the account number 2 which I have imported from Hardhat account. That's why you can see that the account has this much balance, and I can able to do the transfer of the fund, because this is the account I have used for deploying the contract. So that's the thing you have to keep in mind. So if I open up this console, you can see, as I told you, that Hardhat will give you this 20+ account, and it will use the very first account by default for deployment of the contract. So this is the address Hardhat will use for deploying the contract. So you can see exact address I have, and this address has this much fund, and this is the private key. So if you really want to import the account, all you have to do is to get the private key, copy that one, and click here, import account and paste here and click on import. I have already done that, that's why you can see I'm getting this error message, but in your case it will happen. So whenever you do something like that, make sure to clear all the history. So let's clear the history tab and reload the browser, and that will fix the issue. Click on this transfer, and here we have the MetaMask. You can see we are transferring the token. Click on the confirm, and here the transaction went through, and you can see that this is the token contract data we are getting, and right now we have 500 token available in token sell contract, and user can purchase. Everything is looking absolutely fine. You can see here the balance got down, and it's available in our token sell contract. So things are looking pretty good. I hope you can appreciate that how powerful it is. So that looks pretty good to me. Now what I can do is, so this is fine. Now let's do one thing. Let's export all the function, all the variable we have created in this index file. So with the very first one I want to export is the current holder, the state variable we have defined. Then we have to export the token sell data. Then we have to export the token holders. Then I want to export the native token, and we have to export the balance, then the address. So all of this data we have created and updated in the state variable, and that's what we are exporting. We can also export this by, so we can attach in the front end, and looks good. So make sure to do all of the things, looks pretty fine. And now we can simply export this connect wallet and the set address as well, so we can easily able to update the data. Okay, looks good. Hope things are making sense. Close this one, come here and close this one, close this one. Things are looking good to you. And now you can simply transfer as many tokens as you want. So let's transfer 500 more. And if I transfer, and here the transfer went through, you can see we have 1000 token right now here. So things are looking pretty good, and we are almost done with all the functionality of our applications. And in the next video, we're going to start working on our front end and connect this functionality and display the data in our front end. So hope so far everything is clear to all of you guys. If you have stuck anywhere, make sure to rewatch the video. The starter files are given, all the assets is given. Make sure to download that and simply work on the project. With that, I'm ending this. In the next video, we'll start working on our front end part. We're going to attach all the functions and make our application live and deploy. Let's move to that. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. Everyone, welcome back once again. So this is where we left in the last video. So we have done with all the smart contract, we have written all the functionality, and now we're going to start working on our UI part. So here I have opened the project, and you can see first thing we have to do is come back here in the style folder in the global CSS, and we have to import all the CSS files. So if I come back here in the assets, you will find that we have all of this folder, and in each of this folder we have the libraries. So if I open this, you can see we have this bootstrap library. We have this color theme, we have the CSS, all the CSS we have for the responsive, for the icons. Then we have the fonts, which you don't need to worry about that. Then we have the images, and this is the JavaScript, this is the carousel, and this is the global CSS. So what we're going to do is we're going to import all of this library right here in the global CS. So let's do that. So this is how you can import the CSS file. So you have to take this input and you have to provide the location of the file. So we have this bootstrap, CSS, and bootstrap. Simply replicate it, and this will be the slash. We have the CSS animations, replicate it and change this to crypto coins, and this will be the font awesome, and this will be our magnify icon, and this one is the magnify, and this will be our responsive. Then we have pop, then we have style, and then we have to go into the color, and we have to take the color theme. Then we have to take the carousel, and we have to take the another one. So we have imported all the CSS file which we're going to use as external library. Now we have to write some custom classes which we're going to use in our application. So let's call it custom style, and the first one is going to be the new icon style. It will have a display flex, a line item center. Then we'll have a new font size. It will have a font size is going to be 1.4 RAM. Then we'll have a margin right to 0.5 RAM. Then we'll have an icon color class, and it will have a color to white. Then we'll come down, we'll take another class called counter time, and it will have a font size 2 ram. It will have a color white. Then we'll take another class, this will call inline style 1, and this will be 30% from the left side, and we have to create one other one. This is inline style 2, and this will be 70% from the left. Then we can take this new color and we'll say color white, and font size is going to be 1.1 ram. Then we have to write the media query. So we'll take this only, we have to provide the media query. So max width is going to be, let's go with the 600 pixels, and in that we will target our image. We'll take this new image css, and we have to say width at 50% and height is going to be auto. So that's the entire custom css you have to write. Hope you guys have followed me what I have done, and that's the only thing you have to write when it's come to adding the css, because we are using the libraries and that's what we're going to utilize it. So it just act like a tailwind css. I believe you know what is tailwind css, where you call the utility classes and the styling take place. In the same way, we are using these library and we're going to add as a utility classes. So come here, close this one, and now we have to come back here in the pages, go to the app.js, and here we have to import the script, because we have a script for animations, the slider. Okay, so we are using different libraries for that. So I'll come here, I'll take you to the public folder. Inside the public you will find that we have this asset. Inside the asset we have this JS folder. In that you will find all the libraries we are using for the pop-up, for the slider, for the animation, for the click event. So all of these we have. You don't need to worry about it. Simply import and it will work fine. So let's import that. So we'll take this script tag and we have to get into the asset. Then we have to get the JavaScript folder, and inside that we'll take this jQuery. So we'll replicate this one and we have to change this. So remove it. This will be bootstrap. This one is for the carousel. This one is for the magnify pop up, and we have to simply remove this one. And now we have to take this waypoints magnify JS script. We'll come here, we'll simply remove that, and we'll take this parallel. Then we'll take this jQuery countdown, replicate it, and we have to simply remove it. And this time we're going to take it particles, and we have to take this jQuery dd magnify JScript. Then we have this counter up magnified. Let's remove this one, and so this is pop-up, and this is going to be the notification JScript, and this one is the script, and remove this, and this one is the last one called index.js. So that's the entire import of the script we are doing. Make sure to use the exact path, okay, and make sure to confirm it. Open the public folder. In that you will have the assets, and try to match the exact spelling. If you make any spelling mistake, it's not going to work. So that looks pretty fine. Close this one, and now what we can do is we have to open up your terminal, and let's clear this, remove one terminal, clear the terminal, and let's start the application. Type npm run dev, and this will start the application on localhost 3000. But before I start, I want to do one thing. Let's deploy the contract, and then we can start the application, because we are calling some of the functions. So we'll start straight away like this, is going to throw an error. So let's split the terminal. First we have to run our local blockchain npx hard node. Then we have to deploy our script. I hope you guys haven't forgot that. So this is the script. Click on deploy, and it will generate the same address of the contract no matter when you are calling, because this is the exact address you will get. Now simply start the application and come back here, reload the browser, and everything is working fine. You can see MetaMask popped up and you can simply pass your credential. So let me pass my, okay, simply remove this one and let me pass the right one and click on unlock, and here we are connected. You can see our global stylings are also taking place because we have added this button in the last video, and the coloring is changed, the button styling is changed. That means our global classes are working fine, our libraries are working fine. So simply do the inspect element and you will find that here we are getting some sort of error because we are not connected with the right network, but you can see it's working fine. If you reload the browser, you won't have any issue and you are getting all of this data. It's actually not an error. Okay, so it looks pretty good. Now come back to the code, and now we can start working on our component. So open up the component, and first thing what we have to do is we have all of this component. We're going to import it in our index file in one central location, and from there we're going to import it. So that would be easy for us to identify, okay, if I want to call a particular particular component, I can simply call that component from one single location. So let's import all of the component and export from here. So first time we're going to import the about component and replicate it and change the name. So this will be the arrow up, this will be our banner, and this will be the blog. This one is client, contact, distribution, this is FAQ, then we have footer, then we have header, then we have loader, then we have mobile app, then we have service, then we have team, then we have timeline, and the last one is the token. So currently we have all of this component. If we find that we need to add more, we can definitely add that, but just for time being, let's keep it like it. Now we have to export all of this component. So first is going to be arrow up, about arrow up banner, then we have the blog, then we have the client, then we have the contact, then we have distribution, then we have FAQ, footer, header, loader, mobile app, service, team, timeline, and token sale, and the last one is service. So looks pretty good, so we have exported all the components, no issues so far. So now we can simply close this one, and now we can simply come back here in the pages, go to the index, and here we have to call all of these components. So this is where we left in the last video. So first thing we have to do is we can come here. So this is the context we have. Now we can simply call the component, and this is coming from the // component index, and all we have to do is come here, open this one, and simply copy all of this component, and we have to simply call it right up here. So we have access of all this component and we can simply use it right here in the index page. Now here we have, so what we can do is let's come back to the context, and we have to get all the functions we have here which we have exported. Simply copy this one, and that's what we have to simply import here because it's a single page application. So let's all have all the data here, looking good. Now here we have left, and now we can start working on our entire JSX part. So remove this one, and let's take a class. So we're going to build in the dark mode, not in the light mode. So we'll say v dark, and let's say hi, and let's check that. So here I'm in the browser, and you can see I'm getting some sort of error. So it says multiple import. So I can see the issue, I can know what is the problem. So let me make it side by side so we can see what we are exactly coding. So we are getting this particular error that service is defined multiple times. Okay, so let's come back to component index, and here we have the issue. So remove this one. I don't know why I have imported this twice, and reload the browser, and still we are getting this particular error because we have imported twice in the index file. So simply remove this one as well, and now it's very fine. So reload the browser, and you can see here we have high, it's in the dark mode, so things are looking pretty good. And now we can start working on the JSL part. So and now we have to call our component. So the first component we're going to call is header, and in that we have to send the props. So we'll send the address, we'll send the set address, and we have to send the connect wallet. So these are the three props we are sending in our header component. Now we have to come back, take the second component, which is the banner, and that we have to send the props, the token transfer function. So you can see we have this two component. Now let's do the third one, service. Then we have to call about. Then we have to call this token sell, and in that we have to send this buy token props and token sell. This will contain all the information about the token. Then we'll call this distribution, mobile app. Then we'll have the team component. Then we'll have the FAQ. Then we'll have the contract, and then we'll have the footer. So we have all of this component looking absolutely fine. You can see it's in the dark mode, and we have imported all the component, and now we can start working on each one of this component one by one. So let's start working on the header. Click on that, and it will take me to the header component, and now we can start working on it. So looks good. Now first we have to import couple of things. So we have to import the menu icon, and that's coming from React icon /bi. And now we can simply come here and we have to take the menu list. So we'll take a variable called menu list, and in that we have to take our menu. It's gonna be a type of object. So we'll take the menu and we'll define the link. Simply copy and duplicate it couple of times, and we have to simply change the name. So this will be the service, and here we have to say service with a small key, because we want to provide a click event and it will take the user to that particular component. And this will be our about section. With the about, this will be our token, and this is the token, and this will be our team. This is the FAQ, and this one is FAQ, and the last one is the contact, and this is the contact. Looks fine. So this is the menu list we have, and now we can take a class. It will have a header class wrap. It will have a fix top. So it will fix, and now we can inside that we'll take a div. It will have a container class flares. So this is how you can define. So if you really want to use the shortcut in VS Code and you want to add classes to the div, this is how you can do that. Take the div and you can provide a dot and you can give the class name. So that's the approach I'm going to take it. So let's take a nav, and it will have a class called nav bar. It will have another class called nav bar expanded large. You can see how easy it is, and automatically the format is get generated. Then we'll take an anchor. It will have a class called navbar brand, and we'll take a page scroll animation. So these are the three classes I will add, and I want to say home section. So when the user will click on this home, it will display this particular section, home section, and it will have a data attribute for the animation. So in that we have to pass the property. So we'll say fade in down animation we want, and we want to add a delay. So the delay is going to be, let's say, 1 second. Now inside that we'll take an image. It will have a class called logo light. Let's provide the source of the image. We have to get into the image folder, logo png. So you can see this is the image we have. Let's assign the nil alt tag, and we have to take a image for the dark as well. So what I will do, I'll simply come here. We'll take a class called logo dark, and we have to provide the source. So /image /logo dark png. So this is for the dark, and let's provide this alt. Things looks pretty good. Now we can simply come here. We'll take a button. It will have a class called nav bar toggle and animation, and we have to add the two property, means button type, and we have to add the data toggle collapse, and we have to say data target, and it will be our nav bar supported content. So this is the target, and now we have to simply Arial control, and we have to say nav bar supported content. So in that way it can identify and it can open the component, and we have to add this Arial expanded. By default we're going to set this to false, and we'll have another one. Label is going to be our toggle, and this will be a navigation. So this is the entire property you have to add, and we have to add the animation. So this will be the, let's say, fed up down, and add a delay So animation delay is going to be, I'll go with this particular number, 1.1 second. So this is the exact property you have to include in the button. So what we are doing here, we are keeping the responsiveness, we are keeping the SEO optimization, because when you declare a button in any framework, you have to give all the information, that what type of button it is, what it's going to do. So when you will provide these information to an element, it would be good for Google to identify and serve in the Google search result. Okay, the more data you will provide to the search engine, the more it will understand and it will help you to rank your application. Then let's call the button. In that, we're going to simply call our icon. So here we have that one. Okay, I'm doing something wrong. So I found a problem. So here it's navbar toggle. Okay, it's R. If you provide this R, and here we have this one. Looks pretty good. So that's our button. Now we can come here. We'll take a div. It will have a class called collapse, nav bar collapse, and it will have an ID called nav bar supported count content. Inside that we'll take a UL and we'll display our menu. So it will have a class called navbar nav m auto. Inside that we'll take our menu list and we're going to simply loop over it. So we'll say menu index and we have to do instant return. So in that we'll take a li and close that one. It will have a key i+1. Then we have to assign a class called animation. We have to add a delay animations. So we'll add this fade in down and we have to add a delay. So animation delay and the time we want. So the delay we want is like, we'll take a template title 1 point and it will go on. So 1.1, 2 second, 3 second. And inside that we'll take a anchor. It will have a class called nav link. It will have the data. So let's remove this one. Let's take this one, menu link, and we have to display the actual menu. So and that looks pretty fine. So menu. So this is for the desktop. It looks pretty good. And here we have this one and looks good. Now what we can do, we can simply come back here and let's write for the mobile. So it will have a class called navbar nav button align item center. Inside that we'll take a li. It will have a class called animation and we'll have the data animation is gonna be fed in down. So there is a lot of properties: fed in down, fed in right, fed in left. You can use any, but this is the arrangement which I have followed in this application. Okay, now we have to add a delay, animation delay. So this time the delay is going to be something like 2 seconds. Inside that we have to display our address. So we have to compare that what we have to display. So we'll take an address. So okay, so we have to receive the prop. So come back here and here we are sending the prop. So simply get this one and we have to receive it. So now we have to get the set address, paste here. Now we have to get the connect wallet, copy and paste here. Looks fine. Come here. So once we have the address, then we have to display this particular button. So we'll take this anchor, close this one, and let's assign a class. It will have a button, then we'll have a button default, then we'll have a button radius and nav item. Inside that we'll take the small tag. It will have a class called new color. In that we'll take this space and then we have to display our address and we have to slice it down because we don't want to display the entire address, otherwise it will take a huge space. So I want to display only 15 characters of the address, and that looks good. And here we have to write the else statement. So in the else, what I can do is I can simply copy this one and paste here, and instead of displaying the address I can simply say connect here, and I'm going to attach an on click function on this. So remove this one and simply call it connect, and we can attach on click function here. Let's say connect wallet, and looks pretty fine. If I make on bigger screen, you can see our navigation is looking fine, our menus, button, everything is looking fine, but still we have some issue why it's stuck to top. Okay, so let's me do one thing. Let's me log out from the MetaMask and let's see. And here you can see the MetaMask pops up. I'm here, our dynamic button is working fine. Let me provide the passwords and click on unlock. So here we have reload the page and here we have connected. So things looks pretty good. Again, we have to do a couple of fix in the navigation bar because we want to provide this space. So just keep it for a time being like it. We'll fix that later. So let's make it side by side so we can see things are looking good. Let's bring on the right hand side. So this is good. No issue we have so far. There is minor changes we have to do. So close this for the time being. Let's work on the footer component. So this is how it looks. Now we can start working straight away on the footer. Okay, so come back here. We have to create a menu, footer menu. So it's gonna be a type of array. So first is going to be crypto cash. Then we'll have the another one. This is how it's work. The third one is going to be a token. The fourth one is FAQ. And the last one is contact. So these are the menus we have. We'll take a footer tag and it will have a div. It will have a class called top footer. It will have another class called bg light dark, and it will have a data z index to 1. Then we'll have a data parallax to be scroll. Then we'll have data image source, so we can add this particular one. So we have to get into the assets image footer, and bg png we have. So it looks pretty good, you can see. Now we can come here, we can take a div. It will have a class called container, and that will take a div. It will have a class called row, and will take a div. It will have a class called large 4. Then we'll have a call md12. In that we'll take a div. It will have a footer, logo, and md3 and animation classes. Inside that, let's assign the animation is gonna be fade in up, and define the delay time. So animation delay is going to be 0.2 seconds, very quick. Now we can take this anchor. It will have a class called page scroll, and we'll simply say home section, and we can simply come here. We'll take this image. It will have a class, so we'll have to provide the as source. So we have to get into the image folder logo, and here we have the image. Looks pretty good. So we got the image. Now we'll take a div. Let's take a class called footer this, and we'll take a para. It will have a class animation, and we have to assign the true properties fed in up, and the second one is the delay. I hope you guys can understood the format. So whenever we use the animation class, we have to add these two properties. Add some dummy text Lawrence pump, and here we have. Now we can simply leave this to div and come down here. We'll take a div. It will have a class called large 3, call md6, res md margin top 3t, and we'll say res small mt 20. Now, so these are the classes. Now we'll take a h4. We'll take this footer title, and we'll say border title and animation. Let's add the attributes. So data animation to fed in up, and data animation delay, and it will be 0.2 seconds. So we have the border, and now we can display our text. We'll say quick link. So that's the header. Now we'll take a UL and we'll display our list. So we'll say footer link. Inside that, we'll take a dynamic block. Now we'll simply render. We'll say footer list map list icon, and inside that we'll take a li. It will have a class animation. Then we have to add the data attribute. Simply copy and paste here, and then we have to simply change this particular value to a dynamic value. So we'll say 0.i plus 2. So, and here we have to display the list. So we'll take an anchor, and then we have to display the list. So here we have the list menu. So that's the first footer link. Now we can simply come here. We have to take another one. So we'll take a div. It will have a call large 5, and here we have to simply copy. At that point we have to simply paste here. We'll take a div. It will have a class and paste here. Now change this to 5, and what else we have to do the changes. Okay, the rest would be fine. We'll take a div. It will have a class called newsletter form, and that will have a h4 footer title and border title animation, add a text, we'll say newsletter. Then we can simply come here, we'll take this paragraph, it will have a class called animation, and we have to simply grab it from here and we have to paste here. Looks good. And in that we can add our dummy text, so change the value and add a dummy text, remove some. And here we have, okay, there is a problem. Okay, first we have to see why it's in that color, it has to be in the white. So just keep working, we'll fix this particular error. So come here, we'll take the form and it will have a class called subscribe form animation, and simply copy this one and paste here. Inside that we'll take a input class called input rounded, type is going to be a text and we'll say required, placeholder will say enter email address. Here we have. Then we can simply come here, we'll take a button and we have to assign the type, is going to be a submit. We'll say the title subscribe, we'll add a class called button info, we'll take a name, it's subscribe submit, and we'll define the value to the submit. So this is the button we have and we'll say subscribe. Okay, there is a problem in the alignment, so something's wrong I have done. Okay, I have to fix that one. So come back here and here we have to remove this and provide a space, so subscribe form and change the spelling of form FORM, and that will fix the issue. Okay, still we have some problem, so this is the one change you have to do. Now you have to simply come here, let's keep working and we're going to fix that issue. We have to see what's went wrong, so simply come down all the way and we have to work on the copyright. So we can take a div, it will have a class bottom footer, it will have a div class container, it will have a div row, and in that we'll take a div, it will have a column MD6, and we'll take a paragraph, it will say copyright, and we'll display our copyright. So we'll say copyright, we have to give the @ and then we have to define the date and all right reserved by the blockchain coder. So that's what we have here, looks pretty good. Now we can simply come here, we'll take a div, it will have a class called colMD6, it will have a UL list none footer menu. In that we can display our li and it will be say privacy policy. Simply replicate this, copy and paste and change this to terms and condition. So that looks pretty good. So this is the entire component we have. Let's make on the big screen and you can see we have some issue. So maybe some classes I have placed in the wrong place, or maybe I have not closed in the right way, but things are looking fine. You can see stylings are good, no issue we have. Let's try to find out. So here you can see that we have col, COL, and here I have made this spelling mistake, it's COL not CLO. So change this to COL, save it, and we have to do the changes here as well. It's a COL, save it and come back to the browser and you can see it's fixed, but we have still some issue in the button, but the alignment is absolutely perfect. So we have to do the changes here. So come back here, let's go to this, and here we have to do the changes. It's FROM, we have to say FORM form. So remove this one FORM and save it. Do this change and come here, you can see everything is perfectly aligned. So the color is white and now the button is in the right place. Looks good, no issues we have. Check the responsiveness. So that's how it's going to look on the mobile device. Nice photo with all the styling, with all the animation is working absolutely fine. So let's come back here, we are done with this, and now we're going to start working on the next component. So we are done with the footer, now we have to work on the banner. So open this one, make it side by side so we can see what's we are doing. So you can see all of things are looking fine. We have still some problem in the header which we're going to fix in a while. So let's come back here, let's make it side by side so we can see what we are working on. So let's bring it here and close this one. Now we have to import a couple of things. So we have to import the icons that's coming from React BS, and we'll take this BS currency Bitcoin, then BS arrow right, then we have to take the another one, and this one is coming from React icon /FA. We need the Ethereum icon, then we can come here import React icon, and this one is coming from SI. In that we'll take this SI Ripple and we'll say SI Litecoin. Hope I'm pronouncing correctly, Litecoin. And now we have to import this particular one. We'll take this React icon /AI, and in that we have to import this AI outline cloud download. So these are the icon import we are doing. You can simply check the documentation of React icon. There is tons of icons available, tons of providers are available, and you can pick whatever you want. But these are the icon and these are the provider I'm going to use right now. So these are the import. Now we have to receive the props. So come back here, and here we have to get this one, copy, and that what we have to receive here. So this is the provider we have, and now we can start working on our JSX. So we'll take a section. It will have a class called home section, and it will have a, let's remove this one, let's take an ID. It will say home section, and it will have a class called section banner. It will have a class called bg black doc, and we have to assign the data attribute. So z index is going to be 1, and data parallax, that's going to be our scroll. Then we'll say data image, and we have to provide the location. We have to get into the assets image slash banner bg png 2. You can see we have this space, looks pretty good. And inside that we have to start working on it. So we'll take a div. It will have a class called banner effect, and we'll take another div. It will have a class called container. It will take a div. It will have a class called row align item center. In that we'll take a div. It will have a class called column large 6, call md12, call small 12, and order large first. In that we'll take a div, add a class called banner text small 2, then we'll have text md center. In that we'll take a h1, we'll have a class called animation text white, and we have to add the two data attribute, the animation fed in up, and we'll add the other one, the delay, and this will be our, the time I want to give is to 1.1 second. And here we have to display our text. So we'll say we'll take a strong, and that we'll take this Bitcoin, and we have to say here network, and here we can display enamel. So it's peer-to-peer innovative network. We got our h1. Now we can come here, we'll take a h5, add a class called animation pre-sale text white. In that simply take this one and paste here, and now we have to change the timing. Then we have to add a text token pre-sale is, and we'll take a mark tag. In that we can add a class called gradient box, and we'll say live. So that looks pretty good. Now we can come here, we'll take a div, add a class called button group, padding top 2, padding bottom 3, animation, and simply take the data animation. So simply copy and paste here instead of writing, and change the timing. Inside that we'll take anchor. It will have an ID called white paper, say white paper. Then we have to add a class called button default. We'll say button radius nav link and content pop. So it's circle, but when we add the text it's going to change it. So let's add a text. So we'll say white paper, and looks pretty good. Now we have to display our icon, and here we have. So let's add a button class, then button default, button border, and button radius, and this time we'll say token, and in that we'll say buy token now, and display our icon. So here we have with the outline. Simply copy and paste here, and this will be for the transfer. So we'll say transfer token, and this function, this button can only call by the owner of the contract, because first he has to transfer the token to the token sell contract, then user can able to buy the token. So for the time being I'm just keeping this button here, but at the end I'm going to comment this one after transferring the token. Looks good. Now for time being let's comment this one, and this one is better. Now we can come here, we'll take a span, add a text, white, icon, title, and we'll have an animation. Let's copy this one and add this. Inside that we'll take we accept, and we can display that what are the payment types we have. So we can come here, we'll take a UL list, add a class called list none currency icon. In that we'll take a ULI and add a class and change the timing, and simply provide the icons a name. So we'll take a span, it will have a class called new icon style, and in that we'll take our icon, add a class called new font size, and here we have to display the name Bitcoin. So that's how it will look, pretty good. So looking good. So this is the first one, simply copy and replicate couple of times. So we're going to have 4 to 5. So here we have to change the icon, so this will be our Ethereum, and we'll say Ethereum, and this one will be the Silty coin, and we'll say little coin, and this one is the last one. We have to simply come here and change to the SL ripples, and this will be say ripple, and this is the extra, remove it, save it, and we have all of these 4 different icons. Pretty good. Now we can come here and we'll take a div, add a class called team pop-up, because when the user will click on the white paper, it's going to open the pop-up model. Then we're going to display all the detail about the project, and we'll also provide a download button so user can download the proposal. We'll add this class, then we'll have an ID called white paper, and inside that we'll take a div, it will have a class called row, and we'll have a margin 0. Inside that we'll take a div, add a class called column md7, add a div, it will have a class called padding top 3, padding bottom 3. In that we'll take a div, it will have a class called title dark title border. In that we'll take a h4, it will have a class called download white paper. Then we'll take this paragraph and we'll display our dummy text. Simply copy and replicate it a couple of times, so 2 times. Right now you cannot see because this component will open on click event. So let's build the first. Now we'll take a paragraph, let's add more, and we have this. Now we can come here, we'll take an anchor and we'll add a class for buttons, and we have to simply come here, we'll say download now, and we can display our download icon. So this is the entire pop-up component we have. Now we can simply come here, we'll take a div, it will have a class called call medium 3, and we'll add an image, so padding top and padding bottom. We'll go to this assets / image, and we'll take this white paper dot png and save it. So we got our description, we got our images, looks pretty good, no issues so far we have, and things are looking good. Now we can simply come here and we'll take a div, it will have a class called column large 6, column medium 12, and column small 12. Order first. In that we'll take div banner image right, and we'll take this spawns empty dash margin bottom 50. We'll add another set of class, we'll say rest x, will mb bottom 30, and we'll have an animation. Now we have to simply get this data attributes, copy and paste here, and in that we can simply change this to right, and here we have to say image, add a class called new image. We'll go to the image and we have to simply add our image. We'll take this banner image 2 and save it. So you can see here we have the image, looks pretty good. So we got the image. Let's open on the big screen, and here you can see we have the two components and reload. But there is a issue, our animation is not working. So, and when we are clicking on this white paper, is also not working. So we have to see what's the problem we have. Okay, so animation and the click event is not working. So maybe there is a problem in the script, and maybe in the ID and the classes. So come here, and I found the issue. So first you have to remove this ID. So make sure to provide the exact spelling. So earlier it was double P, because of the spelling mistake it was not working, and remove this ID. So this is the one change you have to do, and here you have to come back here and do the same thing here, because you have to provide the exact ID so it can call the event. And here we have, that looks pretty good. And come here, and I found that some of the, and I have also did couple of changes, because what I have found that I have made couple of spelling mistake here in the script import. So this is the import we have done together. So simply remove this one. Okay, and that's all coming from here, from this public folder. So I did couple of spelling mistake, because of that the script was not working. So I just stuck for a half an hour and I tried to find out. So I found that this problem was in the script. So make sure to import the script correctly with the right location, with the right spelling, and that will fix all the issue. So what I will do, I'll simply remove this one, and this is what I have imported. So I'm going to simply pause it for a time being, so you guys can simply copy and match your script import. So make sure to pause and match with the exact import location and check the exact spelling. And this is the change you have to do here. So I hope you guys have done with that. Now let's move ahead. Come back here in the banner, and if I come back and reload the browser, you can see the animation is working fine. If I reload, the animations are working fine. So we had a problem in the script input, because of that it was not working, and our click event is also working fine. You can see it's opening, closing, opening, closing. So things looks pretty good. So let's remove couple of text from here, and now if I click, and this is perfect. Let's remove a little bit and reload the browser. Looks pretty good, and all of these components are looking good. So we are done with the three components. So the click event is also working fine, and here you can see the notification bar is also working fine. So this is nothing you have to do here in this notification bar, because this one is getting triggered by using because we are using a, because this one is getting triggered with the help of the JavaScript which we have imported. So if you really want to modify that, you can do it very easily in the pop-up module, but I'm just going to leave it as it is. So this one is also working fine, and it's a kind of a library. It looks pretty good. So let's close this one, and make sure to import with the right spelling, with the right location, and the entire application, the click event and the pop-up, the animation would work fine. And here you have to do the changes in the header, as I told you that we have to fix the bug in the header. And finally I found the bug. So instead of taking a div tag, so here earlier I took the div tag, but we have to take the header tag. So if I take this div tag, and if I save, come back to the browser, you can see this is the issue we have. No animation is taking place, and it looks quite awkward, but we can fix that. So all you have to do is come here and take a header tag, and that will fix the issue. Save it, and make sure to change this to 1 second, not is second. And here you have to do the changes in the delay timing. So earlier by mistake I have written is, but you have to type 1 second. So this is the change you have to do, and that looks fine. Save it, and these are good, don't need to do any changes. And now you can see it's looking absolutely perfect. The animation, the scripts, all are getting triggered, and we are getting a fixed navigation bar, pop-up module navigation bar. Everything is working absolutely fine. So let me pause this one, and so if you click on this service, okay, this service button is not working as well, because we haven't written the code for that, but the rest would be fine. So this is the hero button, and now we have to work on the service section. So this is the component we're going to start working on. So first we have to split it. So first we can do is we have to take a data type. So we'll take a service, and here we have to define the data as in type of object. So first we have to give the title. So we'll say service storage, and we can type our description. So you can type whatever you want, but I will give this dummy text, this lorem spam. So what I will do, I'll simply come here, type lorem, and I'm going to take a couple of texts from here, and that's what I'm going to assign. So that's the dummy text. Simply copy and replicate a couple of times. So this will be the mobile app, copy and paste here. This will be exchange service, copy and paste here, and we have this one to investment, and this is the project. Copy and paste here, and we have this to credit card use. Copy and paste here. We have this one planning, and the rest would be fine. So this is all the service component we have, and now we can start working on our JSX part. So simply come here. First thing, we have to make it screen side by side so we can see what we are exactly working on. So let's bring on this. Okay, let's do it one more time. Click on that, come here and select this, bring this on the right hand side, and looks good. And now we can start working on it. Simply remove that, and we're going to take a section. It will have a ID called section, we'll have a class called small padding bottom, then we'll have a div class with container, and that will take a div class row align item center, and that will take a div class call large 8 and offset large 2, call md12 and call sm12, and that will take a div with a class title default light, and we'll take title border text center, and that will take a h4 with animation, and we have to add the two data attributes. So the animation is going to be fair enough, and the delay, those will say data animation delay, and we have to add the delay to something like 0.2 seconds. And now we can display our text. So we'll say meet our service, meet our solution for you. Looks good. Simply copy, come here, take the p tag, add animation class, and then we have to add the data attribute and add dummy text. So simply do one thing, and that's looks good. Now we can come here, we can take a div, it will have a class called row, then we have to simply render our data component. So we'll take this service index, and we have to make an instant return. We'll take a div, it will have a class called, let's assign a key, then we'll have a class called call large 4, then we'll say column md6 column small 12, and that will take div, it will have a class called box wrap text center animation, and we have to paste the data attributes, change the timing to dynamic 1. So this will be 1 plus 1. So this is the dynamic delay. Now we have to simply feed the data. So here if we will take this h4, we have to display the title, and we'll take a paragraph, it will display the description. Save it, and here we can see we have the component, looks absolutely fine with all the data. So let me make on the big screen so you guys can appreciate this. So looks pretty good. So this is the description, and we have all the services looking absolutely fine. If you click, it's open it, and that looks pretty good. If you click on the home, it's there. If you click on service, okay, it's not working. So we have some issue in the service click event, so we have to fix that issue. Come back here, and here I can see the ID is section, but it will be service. So simply change this one to service. So let's change this to service, and this will work fine. If you click, it will take you to the service section, and this is the home. Looks wonderful. And that's the only thing I want to cover in this video. So we have built the 4 different components in our application. I don't want to extend this video. So in the next video, we're going to complete our entire application. So see you there. Have a wonderful day. All of you, hope you guys are great. So welcome back once again. In the last video, we have worked on our 4 component: header, footer, banner, or service. In this video, we're going to complete our entire project. So make sure to watch till the end and complete the project together. So this is where we left in the last video. So we work on the service, we work on the banner, this pop-up model is working fine, and now we're going to work on the about component. So close this one. Now we can click on this, it will take us to the about us. Now we have to make it side by side so we can see what we are exactly working on. It looks pretty good. So first we have to import couple of things. So we have to take the react icon /bs, and that we have to import the arrow right. Then we'll simply work on the JSX. We'll take a section, add a ID to about, add a class called small padding top. Then we'll take a div, add a class called container. Inside that we'll take a div, add a class called row, align item center. Then we'll take a div. It will have a class called call 6, call medium 12, call sm12, and in that we'll take a div, add a class called text medium center. In that we'll display our image. We'll take this animation, we'll provide the image location, about image to png, save it. Here we have the image. Now we can simply come here, we'll take this data animation and we'll say zoom in, and we'll add the delay. So this will be called something like we'll say 0.2 second. So we have the delay. Now we can simply come here, we'll take a div. It will have a class called call large 6, call medium 12, and we'll have this call sm12, res medium top 30, and rest sm top 20. In that we'll take a div. It will have a title default class light and title border. And then we'll take this h4, add a class called animation, copy and paste here, and we have to simply change this copy and paste here and change this to fade in up. In that we'll display our text called about the crypto cash. Looks pretty good. Now we can come here, we'll take a paragraph, simply copy and paste here the animations. Then we can display our lorem text, the dummy text we have. Simply copy and paste it one more time. Looks good. And now what we can do is, let's change the timing to 8 and 4. So we go to our dummy text and move couple of texts. So okay, this one is good. Now we can come here, we'll take a anchor and we'll have to create a button. So we'll add the classes called button radius. We'll have a video animation, simply copy and paste here, change this to 1 second, and we'll have the text called let's start, and we'll display our arrow icon. So here we have the icon. If I make on the big screen, you can see, okay, still we have some issue. There is a problem in the alignments, means I have done something wrong in the classes. So come here and let's try to look at that. So we have this two div. So this is the div we have. If I close this is the one I have. So I can see the problem right up here. So this is the problem we have. So first problem is S aligned, so it's A, not S. And the second problem we have is here, it's C. Save it, come back here, and now it's perfectly aligned. If you click on this surveys about, looks pretty good. We can go to all the different sections. Okay, looks good. Now let's check the responsiveness in the mobile device. Looks fine, no issue we have so far. And here we have the footer. So we are done with this about. Hope you guys can appreciate that how things are coming together, and our application is taking shape slowly. And now we have to work on the actual component where we allow user to buy the token, which is token sell component. So simply click on that. Here we are in the token sell. And now what we have to do is we have to simply import couple of things. So it looks pretty good. And we can come here, we'll take this use state. We have to import the, let's say, react icon slash bs. We need the bs cryptocurrency bitcoin arrow right. Then we have to take the other one. So we'll take this react icon slash fa, and here we're going to simply replicate it. So this one will be ethereum icon and this will be si. So we'll say si ripple and si Litecoin, and remove the last one. Now we have to receive the prop. So we need to take this buy token function and paste here, and we have to take this token cell which contain all the information about the token. Simply copy and paste here. So we got the props. Now we can come here, we'll create the function. So first we'll take a state variable and we'll say number of token, because in this we're going to keep the number that how many tokens user wants to buy. So by default it's going to be 1, because we don't want them to go 0 and do the transaction. We want them to buy at least 1 token. Then we'll take a variable and we'll have to convert the percentage. So we have to display the data in the percentage format that how many tokens are sell. So we'll take this percentage, and we'll take this token sales. In the token sales, we have all the data about the number of token got sold and number of token is left. So we'll take this number of token sold. So, and here we have to divide it with the balance. So we'll say token sell balance, and we have to simply multiply with 100, so it will give us the percentage value. Simply wrap this in the bracket. So this will fix the issue. So you can see this is what we have. If I come back here in the context, go back to the context, close this one, open this one, index, and if I come here, open this fetch, here we have all the information. Token sell, in that we have this token price and token sell balance. Okay, we have with a capital V. So simply change this with capital B. Let's have a look on the token sell. This one is also good. Come back here, it's a token sold, so this one is perfect, no issue we have here. So it will give us the percentage value, and now I'm going to simply convert it in a decimal formats. Now I have to simply format this in a string. So we'll say show percentage. So we'll have this percentage, and I have to simply convert it into a string. So we'll say to string, so we can display in our front end, and that looks good. So these are the few things we have to do, and now we can start working on our entire J6. So let's make it side by side so we can see what we are working on. Let's bring it here. So remove this one, and we'll take a section. It will have a ID called token. It will have a class called section token, token sell, bg light dark, and it will have a data attributes to zindex 1. We'll have a data parallax to scroll, and we'll say data image, and we have to provide the image location slash token bg.png. So we have this. Inside that, we'll take a div, add a class called container. Inside that, take a div, add a class called row, add a div, take a div, add a class called call large 6, offset large 3, call md12, and call small 12. In that, we'll take a div, add a class called title default light, title border text center. In that, we'll take a h4, we'll add a class called animation, and we'll add the two data attribute for the animation. So fair enough, and we have to add a delay. So delay will add something related to 0.2. Let's add our text. We'll say token sell, copy this, and we'll take a p. In that, we have to paste, and then we have to display our short description. So here I'll display dummy text. So this is how the header section would look like of this token sell. Now we can simply come here, we'll take a div, it will have a class called row align item center. In that, we'll take a div, it will have a class called row call large 3, div, add a class called pre-box. In that, we'll take this h6 and we'll paste this, and we'll display our text starting time, and then here we have to display the value. So we'll take a p tag and paste this data attributes, and then we'll say starting from July 23 any number as per your project. So we'll say Monday 10, and display the timing. So when you will add these kind of things, will create the urgency among the user. Okay, they have to purchase it or buy it. So simply close this one, copy and paste here, and we simply copy and paste here, and we're gonna have this 4. So now we have to simply change the data. So this will be our ending time. So when this cell will get end, remember we have a function in our contract for ending cell. So let's do the changes here as well. It's called token exchange rate. So here we can display, so it's 1 ether equal to 1 TBC coin, and you can add multiple coin to swap. So we'll say ECC to 1 TBC. Remove this extra, so we want to display only 3. So we have this detail about it. Now we can take a div, it will have a call large 6, it will have a div called token sell res md dash mb 40. We'll say res md mb, and we'll add this particular to it's empty and 40, so margin top, and we'll add this res small mb and 30. Let's add a small empty 30, and I'm getting some sort of error, so let's see what is the problem. So here we have this p. This looks good, no issue we have, and we have to simply pass this data attribute. So we'll remove this one, and we'll have the animations. So come here, we'll take a div, it will have the classes. Let's add a tk count down and text center, token call down bg, and this will be 1 second. It will have a div. I have filled form. Let's add a div called row with a class, and then we'll take this input type, gonna be a number, and it will be required, so user has to provide it. Then we'll add a place. By default they want to buy at least one token, and we'll add this particular id called first name, optional, and we'll add a minimum value. Let's add a class called form control. We'll have a on change, and we'll call this function we have. So we'll say set. So this is the input field we have. So this is the data we are updating in our state variable, set number of token, and that way we'll have the data. Now we can give the name to the, we'll say token. So this is the input field we have, looks pretty good. So we are taking the data, and now we have to simply add a button. So we'll take a div, it will have a class called tk counter inner, so we have to display that percentage. So we'll take a div, we'll call progress, an animation class, and it's going to have this data attribute. Remove this, change this to 1.3 seconds. Inside that we have to take a div, it will have a class called something progress bar. We'll say progress bar stripped, and we'll have this gradient color. In that we'll have to add this role, is going to be a progress bar. You can see the color is taking place, and we have to add the Arial value. So the current value will say to the percentage value. Then we'll take this Arial value minimum is 0, and Arial value max is going to be 100. So once we have that, we have to add an inline styling. So make sure to provide this one with, and here we have to simply provide the percentage value, so it will automatically get updated. And here we have to display the percentage value. We have to slice it down because the percentage can be go point something 0000 something like that, so we have to display only 4 characters. So looks good. Right now it's saying none because we don't have any data, the contract is not deployed, and this token contract doesn't have any value. So this looks good. Now we can come here, we'll simply take a span, and here we have to display the data. So we'll take this progress class label, and we'll add this bg white inline style 1, and here we have to add this strong. Then we'll say token sell, then we'll say token sold, and bts. So this is the first, simply copy and paste here, and this will be the 2, and here we have to change this to token balance, so how many token is left, and it will be btc and btc. Looks good. Now we have to simply copy and paste here, remove the classes, and it will be min value, and here we have to say sell raised. Simply copy and paste, and here we have to change this text to soft cap. Oh, I'm getting this. Okay, so here we have to do the changes, progress, and here I have to change this value to max value, and that looks pretty fine. The components looks good, and now we can come here and we can add our button. So we'll take a button class, button default, button radius, animation. Remove this one, and inside that we can simply copy this one and we have to paste here. Then we can simply type our text by token and we'll display the arrow. Okay, so we have some issue why it's not in the middle. We'll try to fix that. So come here, we'll take a UL and we have to display the different icons. So we'll say icon list, icon none, and we'll say deflex, justify, content, and it will be center. Inside that we'll take the list, simply copy this one, and that's what we have to paste here. Simply remove this classes and it will be 5, and here we have to display the icons. So that's the icons. Simply copy this and paste couple of times, and we have to change the icon name. So paste it 4. This will be the Bitcoin, this will be your Sipper, and this will be your Coin. So we have all of these coins looking absolutely fine. We have no issues so far. Now if I make on the big screen, you can see things looks pretty good, but the button is not perfectly aligned. It has to be in the middle, but we have this issue. Okay, so let's try to find out that what is wrong with our code. So let me see. So this is the input field we have, and here we have to add a div, and it will have a class called form group call md12 animation cut, and we have to paste here. So that's the one fix you have to do. And here we have this problem. It's a FORM, not FROM. So change this to and save it. And now still we have the same issue, but not a big deal. We're gonna fix that one. So this is the 2 changes you have to do. Now we have to simply come here and we have to add the animation attribute here. Change the to 4, and I can see that this is the problem we have. So if I close this one, you can see this is the div. Simply cut this one and we have to paste right up here, and that will work fine. So make sure to do all of these changes, and then the button will be in the center and perfectly aligned, and we have the animation working absolutely fine. And here we are getting this error because we have not defined E. So not a big deal, we have to define the E. All the animation, everything is looking absolutely fine, and we can go to different component by clicking on the button. So now we can come here, we have to work on the third section. So we'll take a div, add a class called call large3. In that we'll take div, add parallel box, padding right it says, and here from here we can simply copy the boxes and place here. The same thing we have to do here. Simply copy and replicate it and we have this 3, and now we can simply change the data. So this will be the low high price to 24 hours. This is the, let's define the any number. Make sure to do the conversion of your token price and display the exact value. And here we have the token exchange. So we'll say total token sell, and here we have to display the percentage. So we'll display the token total sold token, and we'll display the percentage of the token sell, and we have to slice it down. And here you can see 0 and none, but it will work fine. So that's the one, and this is the third one. And here we have to display the accepted currency. So we'll say acceptable currency, and you can display all the currency which you want to display. So this looks good, and that's wonderful. So this is the token sell component looking absolutely fine. If you check the responsiveness, that's working absolutely fine. Our down pop-up is also looking good. So that looks good. Reload the browser. Okay, so all the animations, the components are looking good. We can go to different section. If you click on this white paper, it will come here and looks good. Now we are done with this. Now we can start working on the next component. So close this one. Let's start working on the distribute component, and this will be working fine. So what I can do is I have to simply remove this one, take a section. It will have a class called container. It will have a div called row. Then we'll have a div class with call large 6, call md12, and call small 12, and res md mb40, so it's provide a space. Inside that we'll take a div add class called title, default, light, title, border, text, center. In that we'll take the, open this one, take h4, add a class called animation, and we have to add the attributes, so the data animation. So this time I'll go with fed in up, and we'll say the delay will be our 0.20x, and we'll say token sell proceed, and here we have that one. Now we can come here, we can take a div add class called large padding top 20, res small padding top 0, text, center, animation. Simply copy this one and paste here. Then we have to change this to right. Inside that we'll take an image, cell proceed 3, and add a source of the image. We have to get into the image folder, then we have to pick this particular image, proceed 3.png. That's the image. Now we can come here and we'll take a div, add a divider class, and we'll say small divider. In that we'll take the list, we'll say list none, list cart, text center. We'll take a li, and we have to take the span. We'll add a class called cart, box color 1, and we'll take a span, and we'll have this text, we'll say advisor. So here it looks good. Now simply copy and paste here. This will be marketing. So simply copy and paste here and change this to public sale, and this will be 3. Copy and paste here, and this will be called pre-sale, and this will be 4. And this is the last one, and we're gonna say something pro, and this will be the 5. So we have this 5 1. So change this to 2, and we have this different colors. So this is the first UL list we have. Now what we can do, we can simply come here, we'll take a div, add a class called column large 6, call md12, call a small 12. In that we'll add div with a class called title, default, light, title, border, and we'll say text, center. In that we'll simply add h4, we'll add a class called animation, and we have to add the attributes, so the copy and simply paste here. And here we have to say token distribution. We got the titles. Now we have to display our image. So what we can do is we can copy some of the stuff from here. So make sure to copy this entire div. So copy this one, and that's what we have to simply paste here. Okay, so that's what we have to paste here, and you can see we have the data with the images. Now we have to simply change the image and the data. So let's have a look where it is. So we have the image. This is called sale precede, and I'm going to simply change this to the distribution image. So simply remove this to distribution and save this. We have this different image. Okay, now we have to simply change this, and we have this one. Simply remove this class, and that looks fine. Now come back to the UL list, and here we have to change this text. So this will be called ICO cell, and we have to change this as well. This will call, and this will be the team and advisor. Here we have the private investors. Then we have the bounty. If I make on the big screen, you can see that looks absolutely perfect. We have this 2 section, one for the token sell and one for the distribution, and all the tabs are working absolutely fine. Looks good. I hope you guys can appreciate this. This one is also fine, and we can simply buy the token. Now we are done with this. Close this one, and now we're going to simply work on the mobile app. So here we have to import the icons. So we'll take this, that's coming from React icon.io, and this will be AI. So first we need the icon for the Android, and then we need the icon for the, let's say, Android. The two icons we need. So simply remove this one, just take a section. It will have a ID called, let's say, mobile app. We'll have a class called bg light dark, and we'll say data is indexed 1. We'll add the data parallax. This will be our scroll. Then we have to add the data image. So let's provide the source. So we have to get into the images, then we have to take this app slash bg png. So we got our image back. Once we have the section image, now we have to simply take a div, add a class called container. In that we'll take a div, add a class called row, align item center. In that we'll take a div, add a class called call large 7, call md12, and call sum12 div. We'll say title default light, and we'll say title border text medium center. In that we'll take a h4. It will have a class called animation, add the data attribute, the type. So we'll say fed in up, and we'll add the animation delay. So this will something like, we're going with the same value, 0.2 second. And then we can add this download mobile app, our title. Simply copy, and that's what we have to paste here. We'll add some dummy text, take alarms, and we have to remove, add couple of. So we get our text. Now we have to take another one, and we have to simply remove from here. So this looks good, and copy and paste here. So the two paragraphs we have. Now we can come here, we'll take a div, add a button. So we'll say button gray group text medium center, and we'll say animation. We have to add the data attributes. This will be 6 second. In that we have to take a button. So we'll say button default. We'll say button radius, and in that we have to simply remove this one, and we have to display the text and the icon. So we'll display the Android icon, and we'll add a class called new font size. In that we'll say Google Stores. So that's the first button. Simply copy and paste here, and this will be called AI logo Android. Actually I have to display the Android logo, Apple logo. So let's change the text. We'll say Apple Store. So I have to change the icon. So it looks pretty good. So this section is good, but the icon, this is not what I want. So I can come here, I can simply, so this is the one. I will say Apple, simply copy, and that's what you have to call here. And here we have the Apple logo. Then we can simply come here, we'll take a div, add a class called call large 5, call md12, and call small 12. In that we'll take a div, add a class called res medium top 50, res sm top 30, and we'll have the text center and animation, and then we have to add the data attribute. Simply copy and paste it. Inside that we can take an image, and we have to assign the source of our image. We'll say mobile app.png and save it. Here we have that. Looks absolutely good. Looks good. So come here, make on the big screen, and here you can see it looks absolutely incredible. So we have this mobile phone as well, FAQ, all the things are looking absolutely fine. So that looks good. And come here, and what I'm going to do is I'm not going to build this team and FAQ section, because these two components are the biggest component. If I start working on it, it will take a lot of time, and ultimately we are focusing on the DApp, not on the front end and UI development. Okay, so for the simplicity purposes, I'm going to remove this two component, team component and FAQ component, but we're going to work on the contact component. So this is the last component we have in our list, so let's work on it. So let's import couple of things. We need the icons. So we need the React icon /fa. So we need the icon for Facebook, then we need the icon for Instagram, then we need for the Twitter, and the last one is going to be the LinkedIn one and YouTube. We got all the icons. Now we can come here, we can simply import the one more. So that's coming from BS, and this will be the BS arrow right. It's arrow right. Now we'll work on the J6. So take a section, add a ID called contact, then we'll take a class called contacts section small padding top, add a div, add a class called container. In that, take a div, add a class row, take a div, add class column, large 8, call md12, offset large 2. In that, take a div, add a class called title, default light, title border text center. And that will take a h4. And here we have this one, simply copy this one, and that's what we have to simply paste here. Change the text to get in touch, and let's make it side by side so we can see what we are working on. So you can see it's working absolutely fine. Get in touch. Okay, we have this h4. Now we can simply come here, we'll take a div, add a class called row, align item center. We'll take a small space, take a div, add a class called call large 4, call md6, and we'll have offset large 2. Then we'll take a div, add a class called bg light dark, and contact box small 2 animation, and we have to add the attributes. So simply copy, and that what we have to simply paste here, and this will be animation, not animate. So we got it. Now this will be 1. Open this one, we'll take a div, add a class called contact title. In that, we're going to simply copy this one, and that's what we have to paste here. This will be the 5, and change this to contact with us. Copy here, we'll take a P, and we have to assign the same attributes. Then take some dummy text, remove couple of texts. So this is the one. Now we can display the details. So we'll take a li ul, and we have to add a list item. So we'll say list none, contact info margin top right. Then we'll take a li, and in that we're going to take and paste here. Inside that, we have to display the text. So we'll take a div, it will have a class called contact detail. And that will take a span, and we'll take this address, and then we'll define our actual value. So this is the dummy text, dummy address I'm typing. Don't think it's my address. So this is the dummy address I have here. So remove this one, and looks pretty fine. Simply copy and paste here, change this to phone, and here we have to change this. So we'll type this something, some dummy number which I have in the design. So remove this one. So we got the phone, we got the address. Now let's copy one more time, and we have to add the email. So this will be email ID, and change this to the blockchain coder. So if you guys are stuck and if you have any inquiry, make sure to contact here so I can able to help you. So that's the info. Now we can come here, we'll take a div, it will have a class called contact. So this is the different class, CONTCT, not CONTCAT. Okay, so this is the different class. Add a follow, then we'll have a padding 2 margin, and we'll have the span. Copy this one and paste here. This will be having text upper case, and here we have to display the follow. We'll say follow us. Okay, now we have to display the icons. So what we can do here is, and this is what we have here. Now we have already built this UL list, copy and simply paste here, and we have to do the changes here in this. So first thing we have to do is we have to remove this classes. We'll add this social icon, and we're going to simply remove this div, and here we have to display the icons. So we'll say take this anchor icon color, and we can display our icon. So first Facebook icon, and it will have a class called icon color. Simply remove this one, and this is the icon we have to replicate a couple of times. So we have our Facebook icon, so simply close this one, copy, and that's what we have to paste here. So paste here, paste here, and paste here. So change this icon's value, so this will be our Insta. Close this one, and we have to add our, let's say, LinkedIn. Then we'll add our Twitter, and then we have to add our YouTube. So these are the icons which is looking absolutely fine. So we got our icons, no issue we have so far. Now we can simply come here, we'll take a div, add a column, because right now we have to work on the form component. So we'll say column large 5, column medium 6, and that will take a div, add a class called padding top 4, padding top md 0 animation, and we have to add the attribute, copy and paste here. So that's what we have here. Now what we can do, we'll take this form, and action is going to be the method is going to be post. We'll add a class called filled form, name is going to be enq, you can give whatever name you want. We'll take a div, add a class called form group, call medium 12, and we have the animation. So simply copy and paste here. In here we have to take the input field, required placeholder, enter name, and we have to add a class called form control name. So this is the form input field we have. Now we have to add the another one, so simply close and copy and paste here. And this will be the email. Here we have to change email and email. The classes would be the same, and this is the email, and we have to add an id, so eid email, and this will be the name. Copy and paste here, and here we have to take the subject, okay, the user matter. So we'll say text, subject, and subject, and this will be the subject, and this one is going to be our actual message. So instead of input, we're going to take this text area, and we have to add couple of data. So this will be the text, and the description, and this will be the message, and we have to add the row. It's going to be 2. You can increase this to any, like 4, 5, 6, whatever you want. If you want to have a big, then you can do that. Simply provide these details, and that's the form component we have. Now what we can do is, I can see here it looks good. Now close this one, copy and paste here, and remove this one. We'll have this div block, simply remove this, and we add this class call medium 12 text center, and inside that we'll take the button. Type is going to be submit, title submit, and we'll say your message. Then add the default classes, so button radius, button block, so we have the entire block. Now here we have to assign the id called submit button, name is going to be submit, and we have to assign the value to submit, and here we have to give the name. So we'll say submit, and we'll display our arrow icon. So we have the submit button ready, and we'll take a div. It will have a class called call medium 12. In that we'll take a div, add a id called alert, so if anything goes wrong, user can just simply have a message, and we'll have a class called alert message text center, and this looks good. So if I make on the big screen, you can see this component looks absolutely amazing, but we have this empty space. Here we can display the box. So this looks good. This is also looking fine now. Fine, let's work on this icon. So come back here. So this is the icons we have, follow us. So what I can do is, I can simply come here in the UL, in the first one, and here we have the 3 icons. So open this one, and here we can see the address and the details we have. but we can also display the icon. So what I can do, here, so come here, we'll take this icon and we'll assign this class. We'll say icon iOS email, save it, copy, and come here, and that's the one you have to paste here. You can display the React icons, it will work either way. And here you can see we have this circle, but I want to display a box inside a circle, so I can do a change. So let's have a look. This looks fine. So let's come here, and to display a box, what I can do is, so here we can do the changes. Instead of doing this, displaying the React icons, I can simply change this one. Okay, let's remove this one, and this will display the circle with a square. If you come back to the contact, here you can see it looks fine. So do the same thing for all the 3 icons, or you can display the React icon. Both are fine, it's totally up to you. So replace this one, and that will fix the issue. And here we have the box, and looks fine. If you click, it's not working. Okay, it's not working. So come here and let's have a look. It's called contact. So we have this R, remove that one, and this will work fine. Okay, now we can simply go to different section. So we are done with the entire UI part. Everything is working absolutely fine. We have no issue. You can see it's loading and working with all the animations coming slowly. Close this one, and come here, close this one, close this one, close this one, and come back to the pages. And here we have, so here we have the banner. So first we have to transfer the token to the token sell contract. So this particular function can only call by the owner. So we have this one. Come here in the home and click. So here what we have to do is, first we have to redeploy the entire contract because I don't want to have any issue. So open up the terminal, stop the application from running. Okay, now start the local blockchain npx hard at node, and this will start the local blockchain. It will give you 20 plus account. Then we have to deploy, hit enter, and this will deploy the contract. Come back here in the context, and here you will give you the same address. We have already done all the settings, and we have done no changes in the contract, so we can go with the same API. Let's start the application called npm run dev, and it will start on localhost 3000. Come here, reload the browser. It's taking a little bit time, but it will happen very quickly, so just wait. And here the animation is taking place. All the things are looking fine. Now first we have to log out from our application. So let's log out and let's try to connect. Reload the browser. Here we have MetaMask. Simply provide your password and unlock. So we are connected successfully. So now the very first thing you have to do to call the function, first you have to clear all your MetaMask history, because if you call straight away it's going to fail. So clear your MetaMask history, and here I have cleared my MetaMask history. Now let's do the inspect element. Come back here, and here you can see we have the object, means all the details about our contract. So you can open and you can see the data of our contract. So now we have to call this function transfer token. Click on that. Okay, nothing is happening. So come back in the context, and let's have a look in the index that why the function is not getting called. So this is the function we are calling. You can see this is the address of the token sell contract in which we are transferring the token, the 500 token. So let's call the function. Okay, maybe I have not attached the function because we are not getting any error. So maybe the function is not attached, so nothing is happening. So come back here, go back to the component banner, and I can see here that we have not attached the function, so we have to call the function. So copy, and that's what the function we have to call here. So we'll say on click, and we have to call the function. So once I call the function, it's going to open the MetaMask, and here we are transferring the fund to token sell. Click on confirm, and the transaction went through, and here you can see now the fund is available in the token sell contract. So this is the fund we have here. If you open the price, and the token sell is available, and this is the balance I have in my token sell, and that was the balance for the token sale contract. So if I close this one and if I come all the way down, so let me do one thing. Let me simply change my account so I can purchase. So simply come here, remove the history, reload the browser, and if I show you the console log, you can see this is the balance I have in the token sale contract. But if I open this one, right now I don't have balance in this. So this balance is the user balance who is connected with the application. So he doesn't hold any token, but the available supply and everything is there. So if I come here, and here you can see the data is displaying right now the token sale contract has 500 TBC token and we haven't have any sales yet. So now the percentage is 0. So looks good, and now we can buy some tokens. So first click on 5. Okay, so E is not defined. So come back here in the token sale, and here we have to provide this E. So where is the input field? So this is the, let's have a look. So this is the counter, and here we have the input field. Not we have here in the input field. So provide this E and this will work fine. Save it. Come here, reload the browser, and it's taking a little bit time. Now you can simply transfer the fund type. Let's say 100. Click on buy token. Okay, nothing happened. So still I think I forgot to add the functionality. So maybe come back here in the button and let's have a look. So this is the button we have. Okay, we haven't attached the function. So simply take this one, buy token, and we have to call the function on the button so it can trigger on click event. So let me find out the button. So this is the button. Let's add a on click function and call it. We have to pass the token which user want to purchase. So if you come back to the token buy token, you can see we have to pass the number of token user wants to buy. So come back here in the token sales, and here we have the value, copy, and that what we have to simply paste here, and that will work fine. Absolutely. Reload the browser, and now we can simply buy the token. That's what we have here. Now we can simply buy 50 token. Click on this buy token. It will pop up the MetaMask, and you have to make the transaction, transfer 50 and buy token, and here the transaction went through and you have bought the 50 token, and you can see the percentage went up, and right now we have 450 tokens available in the token sale contract and 50 sold. If you open this one, you have bought 50. You can even buy more. Okay, this looks fine. Let's buy the token from different account. So I'll go with the account number 4 to see things are working fine. Now complete clear your history, reload the browser, and come back here. Close this one, close this one, close this one, close this one, and we have to close this one, close this one, and let's do the transfer of the fund. So come back in the banner. Let's hide this particular button because this button can only be called by the owner of the contract. So we have already transferred the fund, so just comment this on. Now looks good. Let's click on this, and now we can simply buy. So let's buy 100. Click on buy token. We are transferring 100 ether. Click on confirm, and here the transaction went through. The page is reloading, and here we have the data. So 42.8% tokens. So looks good. Come back home, service, all of things are working absolutely fine. So I believe that you guys can appreciate this project, that how powerful it is, and now you can create your own ERC20 token and ICO marketplace where user can come and purchase your token. So this is absolutely perfect. You can see every single thing is working fine, and all the animations and libraries are looking absolutely great. So let me come here. If you want to get the source code and the starter file, as I told you in the very beginning, that you can come back to the blockchain coder. Here you will find all of the things. Come here, go back to the AI course. So this is one of the course I launch, and this will teach you every single thing which you have to know about the framework development. So if you want to master Next.js and Redux toolkit, then this is the project you have to build. It will teach you every single thing about the state management, how you can use the Redux toolkit, how you can use the API calls. This will teach you every single thing. So this project is absolutely must for every single one of you who want to learn about the Web3 development. So come back to the source code, and here I have provided all the source code of the project. So you can come here and you can check that what are the code and what are the project we have built. So everything is provided here for all of you guys. So simply filter the data, recent one, and just wait. It will take a little bit time from coming the data, and here it's coming. And here you can see this is the project which we are building. You can click on this and you can get the startup file and you can get the final file, and here is the setup video which you can watch if you really want to. And that's the only thing I want to cover in this video. Hope everything is making sense to all of you guys, and you guys have understood that how you can build your own ICO platform and sell your token. Whatever we have covered, it's absolutely incredible. And finally we have completed this entire huge project with smart contract, front end, and with all the logic. So if you are new to my channel, hit like, subscribe, and do let me know that you guys have built this project, you guys have enjoyed. And if you have encountered any error, do let me know in this email ID so I can contact you, or you can ask me right in the comment section so I can help you. Okay, so start building, complete this project, and learn every single thing whatever I have explained here, and try to understand the entire logic, because this is the one of the most important part when it's come to DeFi development and learning about the smart contract and fund and ERC20 token allowing and purchasing. So that's the only thing from my end. Hope you guys have enjoyed the project. Do let me know in the comment section, and hit like and subscribe and give a star if you guys have enjoyed the project. With that, I'm ending this video. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.